What up? What's up? What's up? Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, this is Black Man Unfiltered, man. Our first episode for Cooking with the Kings, man. We cooking with the Kings tonight. What up, fellas?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Man, what's good, bro? Hey, man, we had a hell of a show Tuesday, bro. Tuesday was off the chain, man. I mean, we had one female in the den. Handling business, but man, it was off the chain, man. Yeah, let's do a follow up, bro. What y'all thought about the show Tuesday, man?
I'll let you go first, Brian.
Yeah, you go ahead, Reed. You muted, Brian.
I thought the show was dope, man. Great participation, man. Different perspective. Everybody had their own particular opinion. Even though I can disagree with everyone, but I took a lot of game from everyone that spoke, the other night. And shout out to the sister too. She came in and held her own, and I respected majority of the things she said, and I can understand where she was coming from.
Yeah. What about you, Ernest?
Hey man, I loved everything about it. I got a better perspective on a lot of things, especially with the whole conversation of waiting for sex, but also what Brian was saying about, sometimes it ain't gonna be like that. And the way he talks to his daughter, letting them know, hey, if this is what you don't want to be, see how daddy's doing. So I paid attention even with Sean. I agreed a lot with Sean, especially in when she was just talking about the health side of the game, when she was talking about women as better nurses and all that. But I disagree with some of the things he said. Sir Hall, we kind of disagreed on some things, but overall, I loved it. The pace of it and everything.
Yeah, man. Hey, and like I said again, man, a lot of people really enjoyed it, bro, because I just felt like, you know, having the conversation. I think it's good just to have that conversation, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
good
fact.
just to have people to have conversation. And the thing about me, I like to have a conversation. And then even if it goes south, man, we can always come back up north, man, when it's all over. You know what I'm saying? We have
Hmm.
our disagreements at the end of the day. I'm not calling you artists saying, "Oh, you know what I'm saying?" When the broadcast's over, it's over. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
over.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's over.
we're not beefing with nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We got lives, man. I don't, I don't take nothing personal.
Right. Me either, bro.
Once I get off this motherfucker, I gotta do my thing and get my life together and do like
Right.
this here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Once we hop up out of here, I reflect, take what I can take, and then go on about my life. You can't sit in one spot forever, so it is what
Nah.
it is, and it's on to the next conversation, on to the next movement.
Fact.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And so, with everything that's been going on for the last couple of weeks, man, uh, I had talked to Brian had hit me up today, man, which he hit on something that we do need to talk about as black men um when it comes to like the world that we're living in today. And he had hit me up earlier and we was talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case and the Rittenhouse case. I think that's his name, right? Rittenhouse, right?
Yeah, Rittenhouse. Yep.
Yeah. And so we were talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case and the Rittenhouse case, man. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts. I guess we'll start with the Rittenhouse case first. Like for the last couple of weeks, we were dealing with both of those. Both of those were going down at the same time. And so
Hmm.
we'll start with you, artists, first, man. Like, what is your mindset on the whole thing with the Rittenhouse case and him getting off? And what do you think?
My opinions on Rittenhouse is I'm not surprised. I'm gonna say that we've been so traumatized. I'm not even hurt by it. It's almost like it is what it is. Keep it moving. But my real thing is like for our people, it's like how long are we gonna sit here and say justice is not for us or the system failed us? System wasn't designed for us. So at this point, we're still going to ask the same people to feel sorry for us when it shows it doesn't matter. Now on the back end, yeah, Arbery got his justice, and I'm proud of that. And I hope those guys have a horrible time in jail. Yes, I'm gonna say that. I
Right,
hope they have the most horrible time in jail. Big sausage party up in that joint.
right,
But with the Rittenhouse case, it just to me, he got up there and cried his way to innocent. And I feel like he's gonna be $1 million. I hate to say this, he's gonna be $1 million white boy because he just got off a case, and it's a lot of white folks that pay for his defense. Because when I was listening to it, he stays with his mom, and they're single parents, and they stay in an apartment, so they always sound like they welfare recipients. And
Right.
it's like he literally gonna becoming a millionaire. Where there's other guys like us who do the same thing that ain't getting nobody paying for their case.
Right.
Whether they're in the wrong or right, it's not gonna happen. So it's like it's almost like how your boy from Florida, the one that killed Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman, literally gonna become a millionaire overnight because they gonna protect that because it holds up the status. They know he did it. They know he did it. So I just wish moving forward that us as Black people kind of start realizing what we need to do, as far as politics and I know they say let's go vote every 4 years, but there's other things we can do. Like hey, you can go vote for your sheriff. That's the most instant thing you can do. You can change the sheriff, the constable, and all that. Like at least agree on that. Me personally. But I mean, that's how I kind of feel. I just wish we kind of just don't stop crying about it and be like surprised about these outcomes. Like it is what it is.
Right.
It's a dog world.
Yep. And so, Brian, I mean, I know you probably have a different perspective on it, bro, because I follow you, man. So, when it comes to the Rittenhouse, what do you think, bro?
Man, with that Rittenhouse situation, it's white on white crime. I never understood why Black people care so much about that case in particular. Just like artist said, this is known for 400 years. This been known how these people are, and we shouldn't be shocked at the fact that he's about to get off, or that the judge was petting the child. The judge allowed all these things to happen in the trial. Even me watching it, I wasn't surprised. Like I seen stuff in the 60s that was going on with white people and Black people. So all my life, I always understood like this day shit. At the end of the day, this day shit. And on the flip side, he on the human side, just take race and racism out of it. He knocked off a pedophile. Like he killed a pedophile, a man that molested, I think, 5 to 9 children. I might be wrong.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that part. I didn't even know.
The guy he killed and the pedophile was using the N-word in one of the videos. Mm-hmm. He was saying, "Yeah, my nigga, what you doing over here, my nigga? Talk using the N-word." That's who he killed. The second guy that he killed was a guy, and I might be wrong on this too. I can't remember, but I want to say he beat and strangled a woman or killed. It was something to that effect. So 2 of these guys that he killed wasn't about shit anyway, just on a human level. Yeah. Just on the human level, you just think about it like that's a pedophile gone. Then you got to think of the children that this man has touched. Mm-hmm. The children that what these kids got to live through for the rest of their life. So for me, I don't care either way. I already knew how it was going to go. You know what I mean? I knew how it was going to go. I knew how it was going to favor the white boy. I knew how the media was going to protect the white boy. I know the media was going to do all these things to make it seem like the white boy wasn't that bad. He's a kid and all that other stuff. I understand that was my son. It was going to be different. I understand all that. So I can't be shocked that there's no point of me crying about if that was my 17-year-old son, they'll do that. Dumb motherfuckers throughout history, since we've been here, they always done it. These motherfuckers never change. So for me, shout out to the white boy for killing the pedophile. I ain't got nothing against them. Hey, if they want to give him a gold medal, salute to him. But
just one question, Brian.
I got you, Am.
Now, I got one question. Did he see the only thing I didn't know he was the 2 guys were pedophilias and all that. Now, did he know that and he killed them, or it just so happened?
It just so happened.
So
God works, man.
I mean, God works, but we talking about him because it's like I agree. If those guys ain't shit, they deserve. They had their karma coming. But with Kyle Rittler, are we still kind of giving him, like, in your perspective, like it could have been anybody that's happened. Those 2 guys were the dumb fucks that stepped up.
It wasn't no Black people get killed, so I don't give a damn.
I thought the ambulance guy was Black.
I thought it was 3. It was 2 white people got killed and 1 white person that was shot.
Okay. I mean,
a Black person kicked him and sparked it off, though. A Black person did kick him and spark it off.
Okay.
But he was racist.
I didn't know the 2 guys were that nature. Personally, I didn't even know that they were even rocking like that. So that's how much I didn't even go in depth into what they were like. Their sexual activity and all their criminal mischief.
And so, cause you know where I get that style from, get that thought process from white people. White
Mhm.
people do that to us when we commit a crime. They
Mhm.
find out all these other bad things about us to make sure we prosecute us. So I just do the same thing toward white people too,
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
make it right.
Right.
You know. So, but oh, the Arbery case, man. I'm happy for it. I ain't gonna lie, but there's other stuff that we got going on out here, man. That we need to continue. A brother said on a channel one time that yeah, even though those three guys got convicted, we need to go. We need to investigate the police department that was hiding it. We need to investigate the. 'Cause I think one of the prosecutors. Or no, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Someone just recently got arrested because of that case. I think
Well, I
yes.
know they had a good standing. Wasn't the father of the group or whoever one of them? They used to work for
Yeah,
the
used to
police
work for
station,
him, I think.
and basically they allowed them to go home. That was the big issue. They didn't even go take them, arraign them, take question. They allowed them to go home. So hell, you watch evidence and all that away. You
Yep.
know. But here's my thing. You were talking about with the whole inside the court when the judge was patting their head, and I know this is like same thing with the here in Dallas, the Biden case, the old girl. Now, did anybody take issue when I took issue with the whole thing? I took issue with the judge. I took issue. You know what I took more issue with? The mother, the brother, and the security guard who was doing her hair during the trial. I was like, ain't that the mammy syndrome at its finest? Like, did anybody pay attention to that whole that Jason Biden case? How the judge was like, let's pray for her. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
the fuck? Then
Yeah, man.
when the brother asked for a hug, I was like, man, I like if that was my brother, if God told me, hey, if you go hunt your brother, you going to hell, I'm like, man, devil save me in place. Because I'm gonna hunt the shit out of my brother.
Goddamn right. Yeah, I ain't like this shit.
Right.
That made her look so weak. But you gotta think though,
Yeah.
those people, the brother in them, they're not black Americans. I ain't saying black Americans will not do that,
Yeah.
but you know, black immigrants look at things a little different from our eyes because we from the belly of the beast. You know what I'm saying? So when they come over here, they think it's some love shit, but they got their nigga wake up call too when they ain't get their settlement.
Uh,
Right.
I definitely agree. The Africans who
Yeah, they
come
got
over
that nigga
here,
wake up call then,
not
boy.
all of them, but a lot of them do. Like, white people get to them quickly and be like, hey, you do not socialize with them. They already have this mindset. Like, everybody that's not in America feel like black Americans are these entitled, ungrateful, unhardworking motherfuckers. And I realize that too. Like, it'll be them aggressive ass Africans that be treating us
Yeah.
like, nigga, don't we look alike? Like,
Oh, bro, I forgot. This is so important. I got pictures too. I posted on Facebook.
yeah.
During that trial, I was with this gun club called Gorilla Mainframe in Dallas, Texas. Shout out to them. Rakim Balagoon, he was one of the first BIE men to get arrested. You remember that black identity extremist? Well, he
Yeah,
was
the dude
one.
that was in Dallas who
Yeah,
shot the cop.
nah. He was one of the not our brother. Shout out to that brother. Uh,
I forgot his name,
I
but he
forgot his
shot the
name, but
cop in Dallas.
yeah, shout out to him. But now this Rakim Balagoon, they arrested him under federal charges under black identity extremists. It's all over YouTube. But anyway, I remember we marched, not marched, but it was just a small group of us where everybody had guns, and I remember we were marching towards the fairgrounds. Now this was during the OU games. I think y'all have like the OU type shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Red River Shootout, yeah.
yeah, so it was around this time. So we go down there. I ain't gonna never forget, man. Helicopters flying, police, I guess federal, cause keep in mind, Rakim just got out of federal. He just won a federal case, kind of, where they dropped the charge, whatever. However, I might be saying it wrong. But anyway,
Yeah.
made a long story short, I remember we was walking, man, walk through the white people and stuff, cause we was like, Botham John, just for Botham John, all that.
Yeah.
And we did all that. And when you were speaking about the mother and the brother, man, that day forward, that shit pissed me off so bad that she did, like when the brother wanted to hug the white woman. Like that bothered me because I walked for this nigga. Man, I bought me some Air Max, man. I busted the bubble on them things, bro. I was sweaty. It was for a good cause, but it just felt like it was for nothing. And it sucked the spirit out of me. And I learned something from that day forward. I would never ever participate in a march ever again. Especially if a nigga get killed because everybody want money. Once money get involved, and they didn't even get no money, but just in generally speaking, once money get involved, what's the point? These families don't care.
It was my last protest. I think I did it. Who was right at? It wasn't. They didn't protest for Sandra Bland because she was here in Texas. I want to say it was the Ferguson, and I remember protesting. But what kind of just like it was no organization. But then it's like we marched, and it's like they had like a little march here in Texas. It was not as big when Floyd, what's the name, died. But I just realized there was no organization, and you know I really had an issue with these liberals groups like this one. Black Lives Matter really rose to prominence. And I was like, I was on the way, I'm like, why the hell they not here? Like, why do they ain't nothing get done? Because my thing is, y'all get all this money in this organization. Why are y'all not doing things fundamentally sound to put us in a better position after the protest end? And I wish Lance was on here because I need some answers and questions.
Well, Lance don't not a part of it.
Yeah, Lance will be here. He said he coming.
Yeah, because I want to ask Lance, like, how
Lance not a part of their community like that. Lance
no, but you know they end up really becoming the L because they really like I see BLM push LTG real big now.
Now what I'm saying is Lance is just a regular gay guy. Lance don't rock with the LGBT, so yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to get. Yeah, he's gonna
question. But that's the question. Like that's my thing. Like after that, that's when they started really pushing the LTG. Like it seemed like they was like, hey, let's piggyback off black people because they're on national TV. But then that's how we're gonna get our plight in. Because even when George Floyd died, like I just seen on TV how many non-black people were leading the movement, and I'm like, are we serious? Like,
it always been like that though. Even the civil rights movement was like that.
That's why no one can tell me what did civil rights really do for black people. Like as a whole, what did it really do for black people? Everybody benefited except us because it really went to minorities, and everybody's a minority that's non-white male.
Yep.
Like I didn't.
That's what LGBT is. You know what I'm saying? Like LGBT is just a white-run organization with a bunch of black flunkies, and just like you said, they use black people plight as a shield, as a mask. You know, like hey. The Underground Railroad, that's a LGBT gay organization but run by white people. It's all about money, man. It's a hustle, dog. I can't knock the hustle.
I can't knock the hustle.
It's a fucked up hustle.
You know, people get this is what I always say, people get mad at pastors for taking money. And I never trip on pastors. You know, I understand that they got to make a couple dollars and all that. But I'm like, y'all get mad at pastors for making money, but why nobody gets mad at these motherfuckers who come in the community, put their sign in your yard that don't do nothing afterwards? They literally put signs in your yard and these black people's yards, and I never see them no more. Like I literally seen your girl, what's her name, with Chucks and Pearls at Howard University, and Howard University is having issues right now. Like the students said, they live in infested, roasted dorms and all that, and I'm like, I haven't seen them no more. I remember when your boy, not Ted Cruz, who ran for the Texas governor a couple years back, Beto.
Oh God,
Beto Warwick.
I remember he like every black church was even pushing for him to go get the thing. I haven't seen him since.
And guess what? He lost in the Senate race to what's his name?
Ted Cruz, didn't he?
Yeah, Ted Cruz, right? And now he's running for governor. Now he's running for governor.
He know he's gonna lose just some money. He just trying to get some money.
Yeah. He's running for governor right now.
Yeah,
man, how did y'all feel about the whole Ted Cruz going to Mexico during the Texas freeze?
Say that again.
How did y'all feel about the whole Ted Cruz going to Mexico or Cabo when the Texas had their freeze? He packed up his family. You mean they made a big deal out of it?
I didn't give a fuck. I wouldn't even think about Ted Cruz. I was trying to stay warm.
I remember people were like, he should be over here freezing his ass off. I was like,
no, nigga, you got money, nigga. That's why you gotta get money. Fuck that shit. That's the point. If you don't want to stay in the cold, he got a family, right? And as a man, don't he gotta protect his family? Make sure his family comfortable. So hey, we're gonna go to Cabo.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. This just a job, motherfucker.
Say fuck this cold.
Yeah. I wish I could have. I was jealous as hell. I was like, why you coming back? Stay your ass over there.
He said, you know what? I with these celebrities, I don't even know why they don't tell their people not to be having cameras out. Like either I'll be like when Paul Pierce got caught up with the whole weed, and I'm not trying to change subject, but it's like I would not like if you're around me. Do not pull out the phone if I'm a celebrity or I'm any of that, because we're gonna box about it. We're gonna have to get security guards to check y'all phones or something. I didn't mean to get off topic. That was just some random shit.
And so, I mean, one of the other things I want to say before we get into these questions, bro. I mean, what we're gonna discuss tonight, man. How y'all feel about these damn gas prices, boy? Woo.
Ain't it going down now?
Man, well, shit, I don't know, bro. On your end, probably here.
I'm a
It's 287 where I'm at. It's 287.
In Arlington, it's 315. I just filled up before I got on.
Damn, for real. Yeah. Well, it was 287 this morning. I'm sorry, it was 287 this morning.
All I want to say is I want a Tesla. I see somebody driving Uber. They was like, "Yeah, we drive Tesla with Uber." I'm like, "Oh shit, y'all out of there, cuz I'm about to go hook up that bad boy." Man, I'm getting tired of paying gas.
Yeah, plug it up and hit the road, boy.
Did we have like a gas shortage earlier this year in Texas? Like this summer, they were like, it's going to be a gas shortage because somebody hacked the gas line, and it was like for like 2 weeks, gas was going to shoot up. I was like, man, I wish I was them hackers, boy. They be holding them motherfuckers for ransom.
Man, gas prices high as hell.
Yeah. They hacked the wrong shit though.
And you know what, man? Aaron, hey, I see Aaron in the comments, man. Aaron, what's going on, boy? If you want to come on, man, come on, bro. Come on in, man. We had you the other night, man. We enjoyed you, bro. We appreciate you, man. You want to come on? I already dropped the link down in the chat. So, because I want you in on some of these conversations we about to have anyway. So, the first question, man, I wanted to talk about was why, and this is a question, and some of you may have dealt with it or know somebody have dealt with it, but the question is, here's Aaron right here. What up? Hey, dog.
What's going on?
Good.
So the question is this: why are Black women rejecting male leadership and male influence? Why are Black women rejecting male leadership and male influence? We'll start with you, Aaron, since you just came on. Go ahead.
All right. Why are Black women rejecting male leaders and male influence?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a deep question. I think primarily the rejection comes from, I don't even want to say this, weaker men. I just think the stronger a guy's position is, his authority, you're going to make somebody respect your authority. I think like with guys, if I was to just go off on all three of y'all, just disrespect y'all probably going to have a way to be like, that's not going on. I think sometimes we get in relationships and we've been taught to kind of work with women and more of a partnership instead of more of a leadership position that we're normally supposed to take the mantle of. And because women have been elevating financially in a lot of areas, it's gone to their head like, we don't need men and we ain't going to listen to y'all. And unless you substantially, outrank me financially, I'm really not going to listen to you. And that's primarily what it's really coming down to as far as like the relationships with women. In leadership, honestly, they're just at war with men, honestly. They don't want us in positions of power anymore. They want their right to kind of like run the world. And men are not going to hand over that mantle. We're not going to easily give it up. So I think those are the primary reasons why women are rejecting men. It's just because men allow these women to argue, get out. You shouldn't be in no relationship with a woman ain't respecting your authority. In my opinion, I don't think you guys are friends with anybody where you like this. He always disrespected me. I think that just comes with an issue. And so I think it's going to continue to get worse, unfortunately, because there has been more positions of power for women economically. And sometimes they confuse that economic power with relationship power. And those dynamics are confusing a lot of relationships, I think, primarily. So those are the main issues I see as far as accepting leadership. And also, I think leadership is more delineated like religiously in the Bible in a lot of areas where it specifically indicates who should lead. And a lot of relationships are established now without kind of like a religious view. And it's more like modern views as opposed to religious views. I think those are the main reasons. Why she say, here we go? I don't know what that means.
Hey, you know what? Before we get started, I'm going to give everybody a laugh. Brian, if you don't change your name, boy, we finna eat you up, boy. Look at your name.
I saw Bria. I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna change it a bit. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I saw
anyway,
red and I was confused.
Artists, go ahead, man. Why are black women rejecting black male leadership and influence, bro?
Oh man, that's kind of two dichotomies, because I think they're being groomed at an early age, and it's not a us thing and it's not a them thing, because in their mind, Disney kind of ruined a lot of women today. Bear with me, please bear with me, because I know I sound like I'm going to just bear with me. Their knight in shining armor, the white picket fence, all that good thing. They've been taught that so long by the media, by school, that they're not, by the time they get to a certain age, they don't realize that the playing field is unlevel for us. I kind of don't want to blame black women for it, because they're kind of suffering from what we suffer as black men. See, America is really that dirty ass uncle that molested you, but also putting you through college. So it's like, it's one of those things, we know we're getting fucked by America, but we don't want to call it out, so we hide that pedophile that's called America. And it's like, they look at imagery that says, hey, this type of guy, the good guy, don't go to him because he's going to build a community. Go to the guys who, I guess they call serial reproducers, or guys that's not willing to build. And it's like, sometimes I can't blame them, because I also can understand the psychology of how it fucked up their mind. Because also too, you got a lot of guys who's misleading them, but we also was, grow up the same thing. White teachers taught us, white teacher this, white women, white, and we kind of look at white people like the authoritative position. So it's like we're natural. By the time we all come to 21, 20, we're arguing each other when we get to college, where a white girl and a white boy in college is like, hey, we already know what it is. You're going to be wife, you're going to be husband. When we get to college, it's like, I can't stand you, and I couldn't stand you since I was a kid, because you ain't did shit for me, and women the same way. So I think it's two dichotomies. It's our fault, their fault, but it also is America's fault, the dirty ass, bastard ass uncle who touched us in a sense, and we're not willing to point the blame at them because they putting us through college, if that makes sense. So I try to wrap it up as best as I could. Brian.
No.
Okay, good.
I kind of lean with artists on what he said a little bit, but just to answer the question, I don't think in real life, not what I see on social media or nothing like that, I don't see women rejecting leadership from men. I really don't. In my real life, Aaron spoke about leadership as in, men standing firm on who they are, or, being that, that's the type of men I'm around. So women are drawn to men like myself. So I understand where it might be some guys that don't get that from a woman like that. I ain't saying that women just bow down to me, nothing like that, but I just never, even when I was leading them wrong, them stupid motherfuckers still fall off the cliff with me sometimes.
Are you like the Pied Piper? You leading motherfuckers to their death?
Shit, I could, but hey,
we gotta pay the Pied Piper.
I can't blame women though when they do meet a dude. A lot of women, a lot of these dudes play games with women too. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these niggas claim to be something that they're not, and we got to keep it 100. Women are gullible. Women are easy to manipulate. That's why there's a bunch of women in church. I ain't knocking nobody to go to church, but that's why there's a bunch of women in church. Because women are gullible.
That's why so many women in the pew and there's more men on the what's name. Let's be honest, because men not gonna sit up in church if they not leading, because they can tell. Most of the time, and I'm not saying all guys that go to church, we can see past the bullshit. That's why that's why we either deacons or pastors and something in the church, because most single guys, they're not sitting in the pew. That's single women. So I agree with that statement.
And I'm gonna take it even further. Why you think, just even in a political sense, why you think the Democratic Party never target black men? They always target black women.
Because they already got them.
Yeah,
got who?
I'm saying they already got them by default.
But why do they continue to target them though? Why they always play the separation game, the gender game between black men and black women?
Because more black women are voting than black men.
Are you seeing Hold on. Why are they continuing to doing the gender divide between black men and black women?
Because if we are run by matriarchy, not patriarchy like other races, they know if they got the black woman, they got the entire black community.
Exactly.
Y'all both agreeing to the same thing.
So black men. So what I'm trying. Hold on. So what I'm trying to say is, So what I'm trying to say is, reason why they don't come to us, reason why they don't come to black men like myself, because I see through the bullshit, and women are easy to manipulate. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just like the black church.
They're not really rejecting leadership. It's just women gonna follow whoever the fuck they want to follow. Like, it's just one of those things. They're just not following the right leader.
There you go.
Okay.
Some niggas just ain't got game like that for have a woman to follow them either.
You say you got to keep the pit pan strong sometimes.
Nah, you ain't got to keep the pit pan strong, man. You just got to have good conversation and great personality. You ain't got to threaten the woman to make her like you.
So on a good day, Brian, you see a little yeah at the stove. Little yeah, she got about 2 kids. She fine and all outside. Do you judge her before you go holler at her, or you kind of have a couple of times interactions with her, then decide if you want her to follow you or not?
I wouldn't holler at her. Cause see,
why would you not holler at her?
Hold on, the difference between me and other guys that blame women for everything. If I see red flags, I don't go in that direction. So it's a certain type of woman that I'm gonna come after.
I love, but you
know what I'm saying? That's why I don't have women problems. Hold on.
Let me walk you down that man. Now, a lot of times, us as humans, we can hide the bullshit for like at least the first. I think that just men and women can hide the bullshit until probably 2 or 3 weeks before you actually see the real red signs. Because they can be quiet. You see the thin line between love and hate. They can hide the signs in the beginning. That's all I'm saying.
I learned from mistakes, bro. I can see through this shit, bro. Like I honestly can.
But you
like,
also
I ain't one of these dudes that I don't know. I don't like making the same mistake twice.
But you have to understand, a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from others' mistakes. So
exactly. I learned from other people's mistakes most definitely.
Okay.
I seen a lot of suckers go down the drain, bro. And I'll talk about Hope. So Hope put me on game.
hey, Lance. Hey, I'm gonna tell Lance right now. Lance, get out them comments and come on and cam up.
Come on, Wayman. Bring your ass, Wayman.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to say this, man. I want to interject this. I'm gonna go back to something Kaylin said and pull this comment back up. Kaylin says every woman has a certain type of leader they want to follow, so it's all about who we choose to follow. Now, watch this. We go to a job. We don't choose who the owner is. We don't choose who the CEO is. We don't choose who the COO is. We don't choose that person. But when you go to that job, this is for the women right now. Men do it too, but I want to address what she says. If you went to a job, sweetheart, and you walked in that job and that white man tell you he want a certain thing from you, you're not going to care. You're going to follow him whether you want to follow him or not because he's giving you something that you need, right? So
That's a good analogy.
That's
a great analogy.
So when you go to that job,
I'm saying his analogy, but it can be the both. Go ahead.
When you go to a job, that white man says, "These are my rules. These are my policies. This is what I want you to do. This is what time I want you to come in. This is what time I want you to eat. This is what time I want you to take a break to go use the bathroom. This is what time you can go home to your kids." I mean, he gives you a rundown. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. This is the type
of hair you're gonna, we have a.
What kind of hair you can wear? What kind of clothes you can wear?
It's been very controversial,
right? But then when a certain kind of guy come into the picture, oh no, we got to vet all these niggas. But you don't vet. But this dude can provide for you the same thing, like Brian. Brian, Brian said he pay for ass, right, Brian?
I will.
Yeah, see.
So hold on.
I'll take a woman out to eat.
Hold on, time out. At some point, we done paid for coochie. May not in the straight form of me.
Relationships are transactional. Relationships are all transactional.
There you go.
No doubt. Currency.
I was making sure we men here.
Currency is not just money. Currency is not just money.
Right, exactly.
Because all right, keep it. My bad. Go ahead, Dwayne. I was making sure we.
That's my. And Kaylin, I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it in general. A lot of women have a lot of pick things that they want. Oh, this man can't tell me nothing. He ain't my daddy. You don't, And I know, like Brian said, a lot of men don't associate with women like that, but a lot of these guys do. And so when these guys that do associate with those type of women, I'm not talking about you, Kaylin, directly. I'm talking about in general. But a lot of men that deal with these type of women, they deal with those type of women that say, you can't tell me nothing. My daddy live over here. My daddy address is this. But go to a job and the white man can control everything they do. When they eat, when they get off, what time they got to be there. You know, when they can take a break, when you can go get your kids, when you can have days off, he tell you everything. And there's no argument. There is no, I'm leaving this job. My daddy over here. I mean, if I'm wrong, somebody tell me.
Well, that's kind of different though. It's like you can't be emotionally attached to your boss like you are to a man.
It's different.
And it's an agreement. See, they entered into an agreement, much like a prenup when you get married, when you don't trust that person.
Thank you, Holy Spirit.
You know, like just like you wouldn't just trust any old regular white man just because he said he's giving you a paycheck. That's an agreement. And it is agreed upon that in addition to me giving up my hours for my children, me working overtime, me going on lunch and coming back in 30 minutes, you're going to pay me. You're going to keep me insured. You're going to make sure I'm covered. Okay. Now, a lot of bitches is going out here and just hoping that a nigga will live up to the expectations that they laid before them in the beginning when they was dicking that bitch down like she was the end of the world.
Dwayne,
so I mean, let's not do that. You cannot compare a career to a relationship.
But they
is a relationship, but that's a relationship.
Hold up, artist. Let Lance finish. Go ahead, finish, Lance.
I mean, that's just like a relationship. That's like a relationship with God. That's completely based on faith. It is. If we are the image of God, then every relationship is a representation of him. Every relationship. And it's all done in faith. When we join a company, we don't know if that company is going to go down.
He capping.
I mean, come on. You're making you're making like two. That's parallel, but those don't transact at all.
You want to go to that conversation, then we can go there.
I'm not gonna go there.
It's not a conversation to have.
I'm not gonna go there to the religious route, but Dwayne, we can also say the same thing in the sense of we can also say the thing that it's a lot of NFL players that conform. Like Jerry Jones told those niggas, "Hey, if y'all kneel, y'all not gonna be on this team." I'm just saying, like, so it's kind of one of those things when you're talking about.
But men are not putting up the same fight. Men are not saying to a woman, listen, you ain't my daddy. My daddy live over there. You can't tell me.
What woman have a woman told you that before?
No.
You said women not saying that.
Everything I'm saying, Brian, I'm saying it from a general perspective.
Okay.
So, hold on. Maybe not telling the truth. If a chick say, "Man, I want you, Tito," well, who the fuck are you? Like, you ain't my mama. I have heard guys say that. So I don't know here. I don't know.
So Aaron, we're gonna say what's up to Sir Hales just popped in. Lance popped in. All right, so I'm gonna let Aaron start cooking, and then when Aaron start after he cook whatever, we'll let Sir Hales come in with his coming. Jedi Mike gonna sweep that thing up. Go ahead.
No, I actually think you hit it on the nail. When it comes to a relation, like a job and a relationship, a man can employ his woman. Literally, lots of men do, but the women don't necessarily want the power that comes with a man employing his woman.
Then you get fired.
So agreed.
But they ain't firing. Y'all ain't firing these hoes because they doing something on the job that y'all like.
Yeah, that was.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There's the case where guys are necessarily dealing with women, but women see it as this because I actually talk to a lot of women. You know, they make good money, whatever. We have conversations, and a lot of times they think their job is their freedom. Their money makes them have a say so in the relationship. They like, well, I got my money, and if he makes all the money, he's going to control me. That's like the large majority of the assumption. And I tell them this. If your boss came in, like let's just say you're in a huge corporation and your boss 3 levels up come in and he walk over and said, "Y'all being too loud. Y'all need to be quiet." Everybody gonna be quiet. And when he leave, you might say something smug under your voice and mumble under your voice. It's the same thing when you're dealing with your man. He might say something, but you need to have enough respect to bite your tongue. And a lot of times,
I completely agree.
They don't realize that they just think, "Oh, I ain't got to bite my tongue because you ain't paying."
I'm a woman, I ain't gonna hit you. So I mean, that's all really that's concerned. That's about as much respect as I can show you. And I think that's completely fucked up. And honestly, when a woman gets to that point in a relationship, drop her immediately. I mean, because that means she doesn't even respect. Like that means that if she's having that that kind of fucking altercation with you, she's having that with the general population, and they probably don't like her ass either. Same thing in the same situation with a man. Like you can't sit up there and yell at no dude in his face just because you know he won't hit you. That's fucking retarded. Because one day that may not be the case. And really, people are gonna look at you like, well, I mean, how many times were you gonna put his finger all up in his forehead? Like, how many times was that gonna happen? Like, and that's
can't do no victim blaming. Don't victim blame now.
I'm completely against violence, but I'm also that means completely against being a fucking antagonist. Like, don't egg it on. Like, don't be stupid. Like, you trying, and some women like that. Like, some women literally want that point to be pushed, and that's like a turn on for them. And if that works for them, then I guess you got a bonus in that job.
It's on the dude though. If the dude accept it, you still got to put blame on the nigga. If the nigga accept a woman talking to him any kind of way, treating him any kind of way, that's on him. We can blame the woman for being like that, but you also got to blame the nigga for just putting up with it. That's just me.
But it's just like when you get in a relationship, sometimes you sit up there and you take abuse for a minute because there's still this whole other person that they are. They're still giving these whole other things that you feel like you need at the time. Yeah, and I mean, it just happens. You know, nobody asks to be abused. That's on either side. Nobody asks for verbal or physical abuse. That just happens. But there's something that's emptying you that you feel like this person is feeling, and it just happens. But that's a two-way street. I've seen that happen on both sides multiple times.
Well,
and I do think it is a point to point out though to women that's completely ridiculous of them. Like they can't expect men to sit up there and keep being evolved if you act like a fucking primate, fucking viral monkey running around acting all fucking crazy, throwing shit. Like nobody has time for that toxic bullshit. Get on with
That's
it.
the first time you ever made sense, Lance.
It's the first time you've ever heard sense.
Oh wow!
There's a difference. Everything I speak is true.
I can take that. That's the first time ever made sense.
Go ahead, sir.
Taylor said I didn't make no sense. What you mean I didn't make no sense?
Oh, you want to respond to Kaylin real quick? Aaron, go ahead.
I do want to retort. I don't know how she can necessarily disagree. That is exactly what happens in relationships. Like literally, if you go to a job, your boss come around 99% of the time. If they tell you to do something, they tell you gonna adhere to those demands. You are with a man, and he says something. You say no, I don't want to do that. I ain't gotta listen to you. Those are legitimate things that men actually deal with. Now she may be in the small area of women that will happily submit to their man because she makes it seem that that's the type of personality that she has. That's fair, but let's be honest. Most women are not necessarily submitting to men. Now I'm not saying that they should just submit to any man because then we're gonna have that big old debate. But I will say this. This is my biggest kicker when it comes to because men like to put the blame on themselves because most men are manly men and they always blame themselves. I'm 100% with that. However, I do just tell women if you pick a man, you should submit to him. If you don't want to submit to this man, don't pick him. And that's a fair thing to ask.
But nobody asking how those relationships is in the beginning. Both of them are submitting. Both of them are all loving and all, yeah, baby, whatever you, yeah. When it's time to listen, if we're gonna compare it to a job, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it don't happen that men get with women and they end up being trash. It does happen, just like it happens to women and men. But I mean, if you're gonna put that in the context of a job, if your boss your boss been good to you for 6 months, and then all of a sudden your paycheck starts coming late. Okay, production's low, so you missing a day off work. The things that you signed into agreement in contract, he's not fulfilling, he or she is not fulfilling their end. In any relationship, that trust is that piece is gone. And there's some people that can realize that once that chink is made in the armor, like that's never repairable. And some people don't even realize that. They don't even get to that point till like they're in their like 30s and 40s. They realize there's some shit they just can't stand. There's just some shit they can't fucking stand. But like usually, like when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're like, oh, I think I can deal with this. Oh, that just happened one time. Not realizing that now this happened a whole bunch of times with a whole bunch of other niggas or a whole bunch of other bitches. I mean, this is a behavior, and you don't even know it's a behavior or a habit until you 6 years into this bitch. Like what?
Go ahead.
All right,
You still doing this shit? I mean,
that's what I gotta say.
Sir Hale say he got something to say on that.
You ain't
First
ready.
of all, what's up, fellas? How you feel?
What's up, why?
What's good, Playboy?
DMU, what's up, y'all? Look, so I just got done studying. When I got the email, I was doing my studies on Friday, and I'm reading this book. I'm finishing up this book by Sherazad Ali. You guys probably have seen it, the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
Absolutely, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
so
Yes.
I think I'm in chapter 13 where it talks about this very thing we're talking about, where women give a level of respect to their jobs. The only issue with this boils down to this. A woman is going to submit to the type of man you are. Now, look, Talkel, you're on here, so I'm going to use you for an example. This is my wife. When I met my wife, I was green. She was more assertive. And to be honest, she used to walk over me because I was this nice guy. I grew up from a single mama. You know, I was raised in church. I was raised to open up the doors, get the flowers, get the nice things, to be the gentleman, all that good stuff. And I was a straight up simp. I'm talking about, if you look at the definition of the Urban Dictionary,
Come on.
simp,
He was a straight up simp.
it was
Come
my
on.
picture next to
Tell us how
that
you
simp.
We're in the whole row.
Tell us how you can deliver, Doc.
And so what happened is she loved me enough to stick with me, but she couldn't respect me. I didn't say she didn't respect me. I said she couldn't respect me because I hadn't grown into the type of man where I can take the strength of a woman and realize that just because she's sharp with the way she speaks, she got an aggressive personality, doesn't mean that she doesn't want to submit. So what I had to do is I had to expand myself and to grow into my level of leadership, to where now we're at the place now where she's as smart as she want to be. But if I say this way or that way, that's just what it is. And it's not disrespect. It's not me being controlling. It's babe, I said, this is what we're doing. And she gonna look at me and she gonna say, okay, babe. She might give me a little extra. But what I've done is I've grown my level of leadership to the place where she knows that when I say I'm going to do this, the outcome is going to be better for everybody. And this is where a lot of men are missing it. We keep on saying to get rid of a woman. We keep on saying to get rid of this. And you're going to get rid of all kind of women because every woman is going to test your leadership. I don't care who you are. They have to test it. And if they don't test it, you don't even know if you're capable of leading them or not. And I think the reason why we put so much focus on women to change is because it takes a lot of pressure for us men to develop the leadership necessary to take leadership for our Black women. So no, if she's acting crazy, figure out what's in you that you can develop to cause her to see somebody who she can submit to, and then and only then, that's when you kick it to the curb. But too many of our daughters grow up without seeing a man, without seeing a father, without seeing a strong leader, and we're in a generation now where we can't throw away any women. We got to take the reins. We got to take leadership, and our Black women will follow. That's where it starts. It starts with leadership. Period.
It also starts in developing something of value to lead. You were with a whole Puritan when you got with her. Y'all were whole Puritan together. Like, and y'all already knew that was surrounded y'all.
That everybody says. Nope. Everybody goes to you were pure. You guys were young. You guys were
not even just sexual. I mean, an intent, an idea, and vision. No. I mean, in everything. Like y'all.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. I've got it. I haven't shared my experience with you guys, but I didn't just get here. I've had to go through some things in my life. I've had to go through separation from my wife. We separated 5 or 6 times, right? There was some stuff on my part. I was separated from my kids in 2 different states. I'm telling you, we went through some things. You don't just love each other. That you got to go through some crazy stuff in life to develop the type of muscle in the area so that you can speak on things like this. So it wasn't just always us. We had family in between us at points, right? There was a point, I'll be honest with y'all, I hate to admit this, but when we were separated, I ended up getting with somebody for a little bit. It's a decision that I regret to this day, but I'm man enough to own my mistakes. I learned from that. It helped me to develop and to become a better man. So when I'm talking to you, I don't want you guys to think that I was just some pure, this puritanical person from England who speaks the KINGZ language and haven't been through anything. No, I've been through some crap. I've been through some crazy girls. Some of them girls who I dealt with called my wife when she was in the hospital pregnant with my child. I'm talking about, I used to, listen to me. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just this saint. I've got a past. But leadership grows through those lessons. It learns from those mistakes, and it works to make improvements. I've been through that. Talk hell if you won't hear. Just let them know. Say facts, because that's what happened. You hear what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is that you have to take leadership, and part of being a leader is being honest about the stuff you've done, learn from that, and then make better decisions going forward.
You grow in the leadership. You got the
growing. So I wasn't pure. I had to develop that. And to be honest with you, as men, let's be truthful. Ain't none of us there yet.
Exactly.
I don't care how close we are, ain't none of us there yet. Right? You got to grow. You got to perfect this thing every single day. For the guys who quote unquote believe in rotation, you're not going to always be there all of your life. It's not in your nature. You want to do that now because it's easier to have 10 different women than to mature and to settle down and to love on one woman. It takes discipline with one woman. You can do whatever you want to do with 10 of them. And a lot of us men lack that discipline. That's why it's easier to have a rotation, right? Come on. We're not going to always be there. It's going to be crazy to be 45 years old with a rotation. No, it takes leadership. It takes discipline to develop. And a lot of us don't have that because the pressure is on us when we have to lead.
And
right?
You know so, and if you guys are familiar with this, there's a church in Dallas, OCBF, Oakland Bible Fellowship Church. And one time they had a leadership conference for married couples. And so I went with a whole bunch of other couples went that I knew. And as we were there, Pastor Evans, that man is, if you've ever heard him, I mean,
Tony Evans?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's an amazing speaker. So Tony Evans did, what was it? David, Where Are You series for men, right? And he got up and he spoke about the roles of a man and what a man is supposed to be and the responsibilities of a man. And he went down the list and he was like, a man's responsibility does not end at his job or when he comes home, he is to help his wife. And he said the mistake that men are making is that we think that the women are supposed to rear the children, but the women are supposed to help the man, and the women are the helpmate. They're not over the man, right? And so the women, it was like I was at a Cowboys game. The women were screaming up on their feet, "Preach, Evans! Tell him I'm sitting by one. Here he is. Talk to him."
And the dude sitting here like this.
I mean, they were just gung-ho, man. I'm looking like, wow. You know, and they were like, "Talk to him, Evans. They just, you all over my husband today." And so the next week, he talked about women.
When it's loud, was it?
Man, when he started talking about the responsibilities of a woman and how a woman's supposed to be nurturing and how she doesn't supposed to scream at her husband and how she's supposed to, he went into the scripture and he said that it is better to sleep on the roof of your house than inside the house of an argumentative woman. Yes. Right? And then he talked about how women are supposed to help their husbands. And he said, if you're telling your friends or your girlfriend that your husband ain't nothing, then you must therefore know that you ain't nothing because you are his helpmate. And if you're not helping him to be, then none of you are nothing. Right? But when he was saying that, bro, you can hear a rat pissing on a cotton ball. The women were sitting like this. They were sitting like this. Right? The men were so scared they didn't even want to clap. The women looked. They didn't want to shake their head. They're like, "Oh, you better not say nothing." So
they do that all man.
And the women were quiet because when it comes to the accountability of the man, everybody is a cheerleader for accountability, and men do need to be held accountable in every area of life, marriage, fatherhood, whatever. We need to be held accountable. However, let's hold each other accountable. That's what we're doing right now, right? But then also, there also has to be some accountability when it comes. That's the point I was making is the church was quiet when the responsibilities came for how the woman is supposed to uplift the man, right? You had 10,000 people at church that day, and nobody was speaking. But the week before, women were pointing at their husbands, "Talk to him, Pastor. This one of them right here." You know, like and so
that's petty, man.
Yeah, it is so petty. But the responsibility, nobody was talking about the response when they talk about the
But
responsibility.
at that moment, though, he was leading.
Huh?
He was leading. They were listening. They probably sat in petty quietness, but I guarantee you they was listening. Whether they adhered or not, I don't know. I don't know what happened when they went out the church.
Why? Because it switched from prosperity gospel to an accountable gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And God, and the true gospel does not discriminate by gender, right?
Right, absolutely.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I wanted to contribute everything what Hale was talking about. I 100% agree. But a comment that Lance is making, talking about with Jesus saying, yeah, it's a choice. Obviously, we serve whoever you believe, whatever, but serve a benevolent leader. But also, what comes on us are our end, which is obedience. Right. So there's things, a level of that I am abiding to someone who is I'm considered to be the leader of the structure, whatever I'm trying to be. But it comes with having a symbiotic relationship. For example, I shout out to Uncle Stu when he was talking about where the woman, comes from the rib, but the rib, the importance of the rib is that it protects the vital organs of the body, i.e. the heart. So when you have these women who don't cultivate the heart of a man, then what are they doing with the man in the first place? That's the whole point of saying of the woman. But on the direction of the men talking about our end is that, listen, the greatest leaders are the service to his people, right? He serves them. But at the same time, we also are leaders too. And this is one line I remember from the Titans. This is the one line I always take is that shout out Uncle Stu in the chat.
Is it attitude reflect leadership?
Yeah, attitude reflects leadership. There you go. You read my mind. And then that stuck with me ever since I was a kid. When I watched that movie, because yes, sir. Yes, I'm in. Yes, I'm in the dome of the 757. I have to head out tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's what I was saying. That our end is that we're not doing in terms of a good job in terms of us being forged in process what it means to be leaders, right? Because like you said, I'm happy that you were Hale, that you show humility in terms of your experience. Everything. A lot of men really just don't want to talk about that. Just go on to the women's side, but at the same time, you show that, listen, as men, we're forged through process. You became a leader through process. Your marriage was forged through process over the years and through the trials and tribulations that obviously what's going to happen in any real relationship, not a Disney fairy tale. So I just want to share that. I just appreciate what you shared there. But yeah.
Appreciate that, brother.
I got a question. I'm sorry. I'm a question ass nigga. I'm a question ass nigga. One question, so I can make it understand. When you were the week before with the women, when they were standing up shouting and yelling, particularly, what was the ratio of women to men? If you can remember.
Well, it was an actual conference for married couples.
So everybody had a couple.
It was married couples all over the building.
Now I know the women were being loud and not gyrating, but being extra. Did any of the guys, sit there like crickets? Or did they say, yeah, you're right, Pastor, yeah, you're right? That's all.
But do you know how men sit and they consume information, but they don't
like
say
this.
anything?
There you go.
Exactly. That's how the men were.
Yeah.
They were sitting like they were consuming the information, but they also were confused about why their wives were embarrassing them.
So they should have divorced them.
Right?
Don't do that. I'm just cracking.
Some of the men were looking at their wives like, "Oh, you're going to be in the trunk this evening," because why are you embarrassing me? I mean, one lady really stood. You could tell they've been married a long time, but she stood up. I mean, she was energetic, probably the most energetic she's been in the last 7 years of their marriage. And she stood up and she was like, "Here he is. You talking to my husband today?"
So the reason. Well, go ahead, Jedi.
I can say the reason why is for that because, unfortunately, on the women's side, a lot of women like to live in a hive mindset, right? In terms of okay, if one person say, okay, yeah, they're mocking their husband, almost all of them gather. But unfortunately, when it comes to someone who's actually, I would say, a woman full of, who's with humility, or no, I'm not going to embarrass my man. I can still hold him accountable, and not embarrass him. That's the thing. I think that's, unfortunately, we kind of move by I'm not saying all, but a lot of, there's certain women who kind of move in a hive mindset where it's like they're watching how the other women react. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna react this way too, because
it's culturally acceptable. Like if you look at y'all ever see the Steve Harvey show?
Yeah.
Whenever Steve Harvey says something about You know, whenever he said anything about what the man ought to do, the women are going to be loud about that.
Man, Steve Harvey was the Derek Jackson before the Derek Jackson.
And listen, the original king of simping, right?
Do you remember that one episode?
I don't think he's a simp. I think that he knows that women
artist. He is.
No. Well, listen to what I'm saying. He be saying some fuck shit. Trust me, he say some fuck shit. Like 100%, well, 99% of the shit he said fuck shit. I think he realized that women buys all his shit. Because I think if it was dudes buying it, he'll probably lean towards it. But it's them fat, ugly, I ain't gonna say them fat, ugly women, but it's all them, all the women that probably ain't got a man, can't keep a man type shit. I realize he just caters to women, period.
But here's the thing, here's the point that I'm making, is women are reactive. That's why they react. Yeah, right? Exactly. So, and when you're in a marriage conference, you're coming to an environment where some stuff is going to be said. And let's just be honest, in the Black community, our culture is not to sit there and take some stuff and to sit there all properly like we didn't hear anything, right? We're going to respond to stuff we feel, and that's how women are. I think it's a good thing if you get a group of women and you tell them the truth and they up there like, you right, doctor, I do raise hell in my house. You right, doctor, I am mean. Amen, reverend. If you get them doing all of that, they are not listening. When a woman is quiet, and a woman is generally quiet when she is being receptive. And so I think in this instance, it's great when they're getting checked that they sit back, they ingest what's being said, and they listen. Men know we don't want to get in the way of that at all. So we ain't saying nothing, because if you give a woman anything to wiggle out of her being held accountable, she will take that and completely derail what's being said. So as men, we know, shut up, be quiet, let her take this medicine, don't say nothing. In our heart, though, we like, get her. Man, he killing, get her, right? But we got to sit back, let that happen, and then let the work take place, right? So women respond because that's just what they do.
Well, look at Tyler Perry. There was one he did was the play version of Medea Big Happy Family, and one with the dude Byron when he was dealing with the whole baby mama drama, right? And then it came to a point, the stage telling like, you're not a man, you need to take care of your kids and stuff like this, and so you need to go to work, get a job, all this stuff, right? Stop selling weed, everything. But then all of a sudden he said this one line, and listen, girl, don't keep putting this baby over from anything he don't do, you do. And then also he's like, oh wait, it just got quiet over here. I'm gonna say that again to the people over here, right? And then all of a sudden, we get back to the line saying he gonna do right, lock his ass up. And then everyone's like, yeah. But when he said anything he won't do, you do. And everyone's just like,
I want to ask y'all something. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the culture of chivalry, where we do everything for our women, do you think that this contributes to it being hard for a lot of women to receive criticism? Like we do everything for them. We praise. We open up doors. We pay for everything. We kind of pedestalize women.
No, I think the church made criticism hard.
What did you say?
But you supposed to cultivate a woman though. You supposed to like.
I didn't say cultivate.
Wine it down.
I said pedestalize.
Yeah, that's two different things.
I think you
gotta explain it, sir. I understand, but some people may not understand, so you might have to explain what you mean by that. I get about putting it on a pedal.
Yeah, explain that for me.
Yeah, so pedestalizing is just you put us, you raise it to the center. You elevate her, right? And cultivating. It's a difference. I'll say it like this: it's a difference between me planting something and it growing and having roots versus me sitting something up. It doesn't have any support. When you pedestalize a woman, you are in charge of keeping her there, right? And so if she comes down, it's your fault. If she stays up, everything is your fault. But when a woman develops and grows, she has some roots and she grows and she continues to flourish. That's what I mean. So when I say chivalry, I think in a lot of, we pedestalize women. Let's be, all right, because y'all gonna lie to me. So I'm
that builds resentment.
No.
So women don't pedestalize us?
No,
they don't put us on a pedestal?
Some women do. If you think
I think we need to get on to this. I think we need to get on to the guys who's putting these ain't shit women on pedestals. Just like these
question,
women.
Hale.
Go ahead, ask your question, though. But I just feel like
go ahead. So go ahead.
No. I think you guys are about to answer it. I just think we have all talk Hale. This let me put in my humble voice. Us talk hell. If you listen to this is before I met you. Now look, we all did this stupid thing where if the prettier she is, she can get away with a lot more. Can we agree to that?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. So if we're going to talk about holding women accountable, then there can't be favoritism based on how she looks. Because a lot of us guys, I know some of the toughest dude. Yeah, dude, she ain't gonna get over on me, man. I'm a manly man. Let her be fine enough. Let her be fine enough. There's certain things that you will let her get away with. There's certain things that you will do. There's certain things that you won't like check her for, depending on how fine she is. Now, if you like Brian and you want to tour to a different place, then that's gonna be a little bit different because you can see past that. But all of us have done that before. So the point that I'm making is do you think that us pedestalizing women based off of whatever it is, do you think that we help create a difficulty in them receiving criticism when we pedestalize them? Like, do you think that that's part of the issue? That's my question.
We definitely contribute to that.
Oh yeah, entitlement too. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We definitely contribute to it, especially look at the OnlyFans argument.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, like look at the OnlyFans argument. We call them hoes, but yeah, we still pay. Like they're paying for them. Like every time, let's say on certain podcasts when they show up, and then we're some we got folks on the chat, say, oh yeah, she's a thought, whatever. But all of a sudden the live stream's over, she got a spike in sales and her revenue for OnlyFans, right? And I'm just saying, yeah, it's absolutely. I do believe that we have equal accountability in terms of we contribute to it. That's why I think it's more of an individual thing than an actual collective, because collectively we basically create the coffin that we lay, the bed we lay in. In terms of
I agree to that.
Yeah. So to me, as certain men, I don't want to hear them complain. Like if you're holding yourself accountable in terms of your actions, like hey, listen, just because she's pretty, that you're not gonna accept certain things, which obviously you admit it, like we all admit it, we all have done that before. But once you reach a certain level of maturity, that's things that easily don't sway you. Then you become weak-minded. But if you become strong-minded, and now with that, then really you have yourself to blame. So, okay, I'm not investing to the OnlyFans. I'm not, liking all her, pics or commenting or DMing all this stuff or something like that, like stuff that you say talking about pedalizing. Then if you are doing that, then okay, then you reap the benefits of you being accountable, but also being, I say, I don't want to say in terms of self-respect, because I think to me pedestalizing and or simping is also a sign for me of lack of self-respect, because basically in my opinion you're not actually, because these guys I think they're to me I think they're evil people, because like they think transactional and seems like, oh, I'm nice to you because I have the expectation I'm gonna get something later, but it's really they're manipulators. They're not genuinely doing things. They're not kind people. They're nice people. Niceness is an act. Kindness is who you are, right? So I think that's some things. That's why I feel like, yeah. So
excellent point.
Boy, just
I don't
a
think
date,
there's
boy. You
anything
gotta
wrong
have
with
a
putting pussy on a
PhD to
pedestal
date
or dick on a
nowadays.
pedestal. But
Dang.
like, are you gonna do it right? Like, don't put it. Don't put it. That goes back to like what I said last Friday. Like, I mean, you're contributing to the problem by fucking these bitches. You're contributing to the problem by looking at porn. You don't even give a lot of men aren't even on some real shit. Like a lot of men not even recognizing good women because they head looking at porn on the subway, on the bus, like at work, like at home, like you don't even.
At some point,
you ain't even branching out into some other avenues where you can find some smart bitches. When the last time we all been to the library?
How are we gonna?
I mean, come on. I mean, let's keep it real. Like what?
So hold on. So Lance, is it safe to say the only smart women are the ones that you find in the library? Because you just said all the other women out here. If I'm
like-minded people hang with like-minded people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't find a smart prostitute, but I'm saying you don't want a prostitute. So don't fuck a prostitute. It don't matter how smart she is. You need to understand that your core value. You don't want a hoe. So don't be a hoe.
Hey, I'm with you on that, Lance. I'm with you.
You can't be your own worst enemy and then blame the very person that you're victimizing, and then ask them to be better than you, and then resent them for being better because they can be better than us. And at a drop of a dime, you've seen them get with a sorry ass nigga with a good ass nigga and turn good just like that. Not all of them.
Oh, so you're talking about Sierra?
Not all of them.
You're talking about like Sierra. You're talking like Sierra. For example, Sierra.
That's real messed up.
It does happen. It does happen. There are some women that know their self-worth and they know their will, they know their core values, and they might fuck with you for a minute because they get weak, but they'll never be as weak as men. Women fuck because they choose to. Men fuck because they feel like they have no choice.
What?
That's not true.
Come on.
Committee meeting after this show.
In the beginning of these episodes, the recurring theme I heard all the time, nigga, we gonna smash. We gonna smash. We gonna smash. We gonna smash. Stop playing like that. Does not happen. Let's try to be realistic. Men give into temptation if they do not own their leadership, if they do not grow, if they're not.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I shouldn't say men. Boys.
So
fuck boys either.
Lance, what is you?
I'm just saying.
Lance, before you go there, so what do women? So women are women. They can't be girls.
No. I wouldn't call those women either. I know we can give them a descendant term too. We can call them girls. I'm a bipartisan motherfucker. Okay, I am bipartisan. I will bipartisan hate each gender because really it's not a gender difference. It's all just weakness. It's weakness.
We can't say that they're. We can't say because they're a boy, they give him they're a boy, or they give it and it's a girl. That's ridiculous. No, like what I realized. Let me tell you something.
Coochie within 5 seconds. So I'm just saying.
Let me be real with you for a second. I used to be very judgmental of people because I grew up in church all of my life.
Yes.
And what I've learned is you can't be judgmental because oftentimes people play with what cards were handed to them. And if you grew up in a family where you saw your mama thought, or you saw your daddy thought, and that's what you saw, you're going to do what you saw done. That's straight up facts. People. Right. So we can't just say that, well, he doesn't know who he is, or she doesn't know who she is. Sometimes people fall into addictive behavior because that's all they got. I'll give you an example. So there was a community that I moved out of, and it was straight up drugs, straight up crime, drinking, and it was sex. That's it. There were no jobs around. There were no, unless you got on the bus, the bus ride was even sucky. So unless you drove out of the city, there were no opportunities. The point that I'm making is that people rise to whatever's around them. They rise in terms of that environment. And if it's just thought, if it's just sleeping around, that's what they're going to do. But if you give a person an opportunity to do better and they choose to stick with what they are, then that's who they are. A lot of these people who fall into that pattern, a lot of them didn't have a chance and they did not see any better. Right. So that's why I work not to be critical of people unless I know their backstory. A lot of people who are quote unquote hoes were hoes because that's all they saw.
There's not there's just not a justification or a reason. That doesn't make them a less valuable person at all. By far, there's still people and they deserve respect and they deserve an opportunity. But you can't resent people that you go out with, knowing that you're going out with someone who doesn't match your core values, thinking they're going to grow with you when you're growing in opposite directions in the first place. Like, you can't sit up there and play blame game when you don't even know what you have necessary to feed this partner, to actually help them grow. You may be in a process of growing yourself and you hinder your own growing because you're too busy blaming a bitch for a nut that you didn't get, or for some food that she didn't make, or because she didn't make you feel like a king. Just in the same respect thing for respective women think for women. You can't sit there and be mad at a man because he didn't make you feel like a queen. Bitch, you should have came in the relationship feeling like a queen. He's supposed to respect your queen, but you're not supposed to make you a queen.
I'll give you that.
I don't accept the cooking part. You mess up the cooking, it's fine.
So Brian said,
else, I'm with you.
So Brian said he had a disagreement about who you disagree with, Brian.
Well, maybe I misunderstood what he was saying, but my thing is this. Like, let's say I was the type of person that did want to sleep around with women, right?
You are that.
That's my yeah, I'm just saying. Let's just say I was. Let's just say I was like really into that. I have a addictive trait. You know what I'm saying? I'm into business. I'm into getting money. I'm just into a lot of things. So in my leisure time, if I decide I want to have sex with some women, I feel like I can do that. You know, I don't think my mother wasn't no funky whore. My daddy wasn't beating my mama or nothing like that. You know, I come from a pretty cool home. I'm the only child. But and I lost my virginity at 18 years old. You see what I'm saying? So throughout life, I said my hobby, if that's something I want to do, I'm gonna have sex with a woman. That's up to me. But I still handle my business. I'm raising 2 children. They don't see none of what I do.
And we're not talking about the developed people that are progressive sexually like you. And I say progressive sexually, not like you fucked a bunch of bitches, but you have a respectability with them that when you have an interaction with them, it's never dirty or shameful, and you don't.
Nah, I'm gonna take them out, man. I'm gonna take the hoe out and everything. I'm gonna get a hoe some flowers, make them feel good.
And just like a job, it's just like a job. You're doing what they expect you to do.
Yeah. You listening to this, Sir Harold?
Hold on, Sir Harold. So for like, because we always hear about the preacher's kids. Now, if they grew up in a somewhat good household and they wasn't fucking around, then they end up becoming hoes. Then how did that become? Because it's like you don't have to go around a bunch of hoes to end up being a hoe. That's just really just what you want to do when you get to that point.
Women like women will fuck with me like that though. Like I don't gotta beg for pussy. I really didn't have to beg for pussy. I don't even know how to ask a woman to have sex, bro. Like that's on my dead daddy. And it was just kind of easy for me. That's why I never had to strong arm a woman to make her have sex with me or nothing.
Now, I'm not speaking on.
And I ain't just saying I was a hell of a nigga.
Yeah.
But I'm a hell of a nigga.
Yeah, right. I wasn't
a hell of a nigga now. I had a little game about myself.
See, Brian, I see you like at 55, maybe even 60. You see a woman and she just surpasses other qualities that you didn't even know that you need, and you just be like, okay. And she might fuck around on you a couple times. You might fuck around on her a couple times, but y'all will understand that y'all are adults. Y'all will understand. You search for a deeper agreement.
Yeah,
your interaction like arrangements. It ain't just fucking and fucking.
Yeah, I'm enjoying life, baby.
Exactly. And then you just I see you just looking for somebody to enjoy life with. You're not trying to grow and find your lesson inside of them. You're not trying to.
I'm enjoying life.
Hold on. Go ahead, Sir Hill.
Yeah, I'm enjoying life.
That doesn't represent the majority of people, right? That's Brian in his particular experience. Most guys want to be married in a relationship long term. So that's what I'm speaking to, right? Brian is different. He is a professional. He's a professional at what he does. I'm talking about for the common guys.
Nah, I got an old lady, man.
You see what I'm saying?
I got an old lady, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the point that I was making up is that it was to Jedi's point that a lot of times we call women hoes because of what they've done. And the point that I'm making is that sometimes people do what they've been around. And if you give them an opportunity to do something different, then they'll do something different. I'm a product of what I'm telling you about. Before I got back with my wife, anybody from up north, from Illinois?
I got people.
Yeah, so
New York.
So I stayed in the city where this all it was. It's one of the most corrupt cities that I stayed in, and that was all that was around. I realized like the decisions that I was making, and let me be because this guy's on here. Let me be transparent. There was one, and I am a preacher's kid and a minister. So let me put more context on it for y'all.
Come on.
Like I'm talking about speaking at different churches. This is what I do.
Come on.
And so as a preacher, going around, and I'm a musician, right? So I'm going around, I'm constantly around this attention. So I'm going out preaching, and there was one day where I was at church, and there were 7 different women in the congregation, and I'm like, what in the world am I doing? I had to be real with myself, like, what am I doing? I was around an environment where the other preachers were telling me, hey, man, if you got to go out and hit this, do that. Just don't tell your wife about it. Just keep it a secret. Keep it under there. The point that I'm making is you live up to the expectations of your environment. And if you want to do better, you got to get around people who hold you accountable and want you to do better. That's the whole point that I'm making.
What can I add to this conversation?
Yes.
Let's go back up to the pedalization. There's nothing new under the sun. Ahab pedalized Jezebel. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that he did not pedalize her because of a boyhood. He pedalized her because that's what exactly he worshipped. and that what you worship is what you were raised. So when he pedalized Jezebel, it meant that he now lost his crown. What does that mean? He lost the power. She had the power. This is why Elijah ran from Jezebel and not from Ahab, because he knew who truly controlled the power. So we must understand that Ahab was a king. Ahab knew the word. Ahab was a fully grown man. But what was it about Jezebel? He adored and loved Jezebel regardless of the warnings that he was given. Okay, so this pedalization is absolutely nothing new under the sun, since you want to go Bible. Second, I agree with Hale on this fact. First of all, none of my women are bees. I don't call them bees, because when you get into the intellectual conversation with some of these women that we would call quote unquote loose, you find out that they had a lot of traumatic issues in their early hood. Some of them been touched. And because of that, a lot of them become overly sexually active because of that. And we who are predators take advantage of it. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay. And when we understand that we took advantage and re-abused a woman, then we need to take accountability. That is not called immaturity. That is called sexual deviancy. Okay. Now, let's go with something else that's been said on the panel. I'm not here to belittle any man, so I'm not going to sit up here and say Brian is wrong. He did this, he did that. My whole thing is, when he feels like raising up, just remember, what we do to one woman will be done to our daughters. And so if that doesn't wake us up, then I don't know what will. Hold up, Lance. You're talking about a man that got 4 daughters. You feel me? So the same game that I played, another man can play, because there's always somebody a little bit better than you at the game we play. So then you spoke on Steve Harvey. I don't necessarily put Steve Harvey in the same class as, what's the other boy name?
Derek
Jackson.
Because even though he wrote a book and produced a movie, the key for him was he was once a player. So he came from the angle of being a player. He didn't come from the angle of just straight manhood, fatherhood. The fact that he came from that angle was the reason why he was able to write that book. The reason that book has failed women in so many different ways is because the average man is not an average good man. Have good man is not necessarily a player. And if you got the book and I got the book, we both know the answer because we both got the book. So they still got played by the book, because I don't mind waiting 90 days because I know what I'm going to do on the side until that 90 days comes. So, the game has to be told, but the game was told. You see what I'm saying? So now when we talk about the church and what's going on in the church, we have to understand that money rules. So if you hold a set of women accountable in the hardness of sense, he ain't got a church no more, because we ain't giving up that money. Period. Let's just keep it real. We ain't giving up that money. They can go in there, emotionalize, get the drum playing, the keyboards going. You got a musician right here. He'll tell you, the more of them keys he's playing, the more money is going into that plate. But guess what? We as men, we ain't going for the piano. You ain't going to get us on the drums. You ain't going to hoop and holler us out of our paycheck. But they can hoop and holler a woman out of her paycheck. That's the game that's been played. You think the first lady of the church is going to tell her husband stop playing the game when she about to get a new Benz, a new ring, a new house? No. Game is the game. Now, what we have to do is begin to do what the word says. You got to be like Jesus. Jesus was a radical, and he found him a bunch of radicals. And when he found that radical, What happened? Jesus was okay until he turned them tables over. That man, when he recognized where their power lie and what they really worship was them tables, which is the money. That's when they said this Negro got to die. So which one of us is going to be willing to stand up, man up, and do what has to be done instead of complaining, whining, crying, calling women out their names and their character? The whole thing is that we got to just grab ourselves, as God said to Job, pick yourself up by your loins and be a man. You know, so when it comes to accountability, God never asked us to wait on the woman. He said, you are created first. You are the head. You are the head and not the tail. God didn't sit up there and say, well, you women better get your stuff together. You women better do this. You women better do that. If you look through that whole scripture, who did he talk to? The head. Every single time. The Bible is 80% talking to leadership. It is not talking to the followers. If you go back to the book of Malachi, read chapter 1 and 2. They skip over them 2 chapters. Why? Because it was talking to the preacher. When Moses did what he did, why couldn't he get into the promised land? Regardless of how he acted. Why? Because he did not do the right thing as a leader. And we have to begin to be leaders. We can sit here and we can tell women all day long, I want you to submit. I want you to go and cook dinner. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Guess what? Some people got to die. So I'm going to keep building. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to build a farm. I'm going to build it. And if you don't want to cross over that river, guess what happens? When you try to follow behind me, the river's going to close and you're going to die. And guess what? Some people's going to have to die in this battle. Some people's going to have to die for freedom. So are you willing to be like Christ and die bearing your cross?
Now, Uncle Stu, you said something.
I want to respond to Uncle Stu.
Yeah, go for it, Mr. Brian.
And I got to respond. What's up, Uncle Stu?
And I just want to respectfully, just respond to what you said. Now, I don't never ever disrespect women or run game with women.
No.
No. I just want hold on. I'll let you talk.
Okay.
I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Any woman I talk to is always on a personal level or on an energy level. It's not me disrespecting the woman. Now, some of the stuff I do speak on here be sarcasm. It be on some funny shit just to try to lighten the mood up a little bit. But if I do choose to be around multiple women, I can, and I let the woman know what's going on. See, that's the difference between me and most men. I tell a woman the truth on what I want from her. See, I tell her it's gonna be transactional energy, it could be transactional money, it can be transactional ideas, or we can all just get by with each other and stuff like that. Sometimes more than a sexual thing. So that's what I was talking about. You know what I mean? And for my daughter, I put my daughter on game. I teach her and I understand, yes, she gonna get her heart broke. There's nothing I can do about it. That's life. But as long as I'm her father and I put her on game on how these niggas is, watch out for these type niggas. Do this, do that, watch yourself. She gonna make mistakes, so there's nothing I can do about this. But for me, I'm gonna stand on who I am, but I'm always gonna die for mine, die for my people, and that's what I roll with. My daughter's 16 years old.
Okay, how old is your kids, Mr. Hale?
My son is 14, daughter 12, daughter 10, son 9.
Okay. Oof. All of my kids is 25 and up. And one thing that I've learned, having grown adult daughters, even dealing with a son, sometimes the very thing you think they don't see, they see. Sometimes you think the very things you hiding, you ain't hiding. And all I'm saying to you is, I can never judge you. So I would never say, oh, you less than a man, this other man. I'll never say that, because I judge a man based on what is he doing now and where is he going. Because God can take any man to produce what needs to be produced. So never take it in that regards. I was letting Lance know, because I love Lance. Watch that B word. That's where I was talking about. I want him to watch that B word, because None of my women are pregnant dogs. You feel me?
And none of the women I interact with ever feel like a bitch.
Lance, I love you.
And I mean, none of the women I ever feel interact. And I will say this: I am judgmental, and that's one of my worst vices. I am hella judgmental. Absolutely.
That's fine.
But I also have the clarity to know that my judgment means nothing. God does. If you are the type of person that would accept my judgment and impress it upon yourself, then that shows me a lot more about your character than it even does mine. And that's the kind of shit that'll keep a person single, because I need you to be a strong fucking character. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care if you got balls or ovaries. Like you need to have grown inside yourself, and you need to invest in yourself. There are no people investing in themselves anymore. They are reaching out for the thing that feels their value, and it's horrible. And I know I be saying some fucked up shit on the real. I know God ain't doing it.
Be yourself. Shit. I'm gonna say bitch and hoe.
This is the only thing that I am saying. As I said, I come with no judgments, but with wise wisdom. So here's my wise wisdom. Nobody on this panel knows who's watching this video. No one on this panel knows who's looking at this video. But what I will say is that I don't need anybody coming on this video and saying, well, why should we respect black women when those black men don't respect black women? Why should we respect black men if the black men don't respect each other? See, the Bible tells me to raise up the standard. And so I like to be a person who likes to edify by my own actions the standard. Do you see how Brian approached me? He said, hey, let me say this. Let me speak this. Let me say this. Let me show you how I really communicate, because I don't want it misunderstood that I'm out here running game. No, I'm a man of integrity. I'm telling the woman up front, I'm not trying to run game on you. I'm not trying to do this on you. This is it. Now, if she accepts that, guess what? It is what it is. And I'll tell any man, be straight up. If you're not looking for a marriage, don't go in saying you want a marriage. Okay. If you ain't looking for a relationship, be man enough to say you're not looking for a relationship. You know, I respect that move, over, yeah, baby, we're going to get in this relationship just to get what you want and then pull back out. I'm not saying that you're any less than a man, Lance. All I'm saying is you're an intelligent brother. I don't have a problem with your intelligence. You're a smart brother. And I'm never going to belittle your intelligence. All I'm saying is be you, but we can be ourselves without necessarily degrading someone else. You know what I'm saying? We can be comical and foolish, but we ain't got to belittle everyone. Speak your mind, speak your piece, and speak what you got to speak, because I know you. I heard you speak. You spit mad facts. You'll spit mad energy. You know what I'm saying? So I want it where if I say right now, I'm taking everybody on this panel and I'm putting them on Uncle Stu's panel. I'm putting them on Uncle Stu's panel because I know who's on this panel. I know how they think. I know how they want to grow. I know where they're trying to go. And so I want to make sure that the people that ride with me, roll with me, is going to rise with me. And personally speaking, because I'm older, that means y'all supposed to be 2 times better than me, because anybody that's the head always want to produce people that's going to be 2 times better. Jesus only spoke to 12, but Peter spoke to 3,000. Elijah only dealt with one group, but Elisha dealt 2 times better. Abraham only had the 2 seeds, but out of the 2 seeds, they multiply into a nation. So I want to see you be 2 times better than me. And I don't want you to be anything less than me. I want you to rise above me. Why? Because most pastors will tell you, don't preach better than your preacher. That's a lie when it comes to me. I want you to talk better than me, walk better than me, think better than me, act better than me, and go farther than me, so that I know that my work has been done.
I want to know two things about what you said because it was nothing but truth. Let this be the example of putting somebody on a pedestal because there is a right way. That's accountability. That's giving people the chance to be accountable and then watching and seeing if they fall. I appreciate that. I curse. I don't like it, but I do it. Just like I smoke. I don't like it, but I do it. But on the second note, I think if we were to poll the women who actually watched this show, I think they would be less concerned about the language that I use to describe those that they describe each other in, and more concerned. I think they're more offended about the viewpoints that most of the men have on this dais. So I think that we should probably attack that as more.
Let me say this.
Importantly,
all
because
due respect,
we was just on the show with a young lady where people had a lot of preconceived notions about her until they found out she was married.
I want to respond.
And then all of a sudden there was
I'm not
respectability that just kind of pulled into the. Y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see it. It's the same. I can speak some same truth to y'all, and it's a whole different level for every person on here. Sir Hill can come through and say the same stuff that I do, and then y'all be like, "Oh yeah," and then Sir Hill can say something y'all disagree with, and then Uncle Stu can come on here and say something, and y'all be like, "Oh yeah." It be women that be speaking facts all day, and y'all don't even listen to them. But then when y'all get a sour woman, y'all don't understand.
Hold on. Let me
there are women that be trying to speak truth.
Lance, before anybody say something, the other night I had a show. I did a show with a young lady, and Uncle Stu put me up on game because man, Uncle Stu is amazing, bro. So he email you, put you up on game. He give you critiques of your show, your platform, and he makes sure you on point, bro. And I just love him for it. So I want to commend you for that, Uncle Stu, and I'm continue to listen to you. So what I'm gonna say is this: the other night I had a lady that came on, and this lady was from Monroe, Louisiana. Where I'm from a town outside of Monroe, but she came on and she was exposed. She was talking about how she loved the Lord and she's a woman of the Lord and all this other stuff. And then she went to expose this pastor, right? I don't know if you saw it, Sir Hill. She went on. She got a letter from the church saying that he's sleeping with all the women in the church and he ain't this, he ain't that. I mean, she was just going in. So one of his members came into the show, boom. Because I put the link in the thing and it came on the show. He was like, "Oh, put me on. I got to get her." Right. So when she saw him, she hopped off. Right. She didn't want to have a conversation anymore. She was like, "Oh, I got to go. I got." She was all fidgety. Right. So Uncle Stu came on right after the member of his church. Uncle Stu said, and this is addressing what Kaylin said earlier. Kaylin said, "Why when women said they don't listen?" Lance said, "Why when women said they don't listen?" Uncle Stu said these words to me and the guy that called in from the church. He said, if we're looking at it from a biblical standpoint, a woman has never been sent to check a man. A man was sent to check a man. And so it's out of line for a woman to come and try to check a man about his leadership role when they're men to do that. So Uncle Stu came and hit us hard in the chest. And he was like, "Don't let that lady be on your show exposing another man." And because she just went in. And so, but yeah, he said no woman is called to check a man. Other men are to check other men.
In the Old Testament, yeah, absolutely. But I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason Jesus died, so he can be the messenger and work through every single heart.
No, there's a difference between working through every vessel and having order. Actually, if you want to be specific in the New Testament, it becomes a little bit more. There are more constraints. The Bible goes so far to say a woman should not even sit on the same side of a man or teach him, and if she has questions, to go home. And that's really old school. The goal here, however, is it sets a precedent. If we can't expect our women to check us because it suggests that we're not on top of our leadership. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. And we can't command people to respect us that also have to scold us. So I think that is the point that is being made.
No, not scold. No, yeah, scolding is abuse.
And let me just add to that. The reason I hope this comes across correctly, because it's going to sound harsh, but it's not to you. I don't worry about what a woman do because I know that some of these women have never seen the real example of a man before. And because they not have seen that example, then I must set the example. And because I am a father, a husband, a leader, a king, a priest, a pastor, a prophet. I must set the example. So I will not belittle myself calling a woman something beneath what God has already called her. And if I see any of these women in this chat start calling themselves out their names, then I would ask him, drop the link, and me and them is going to have a conversation. So until that takes place, I must be a leader at all times, not using anything to the left or to the right as an excuse for me to turn around and belittle them. When we set a bar, we set a standard, I already said they will die in their wilderness, which means if this is how you want to talk to each other, then you go ahead, be in the little corner and be by yourself. And when you get 80, 90 years old with your little dog and your little cat all alone, because you did not want to what? Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you approve what is the good and perfect will of the Father. There's nothing I can do for you. All I can do is plant the seed. Once I plant the seed, someone else must come into water, and it must be God to give the increase. I don't dominate and rule. Let your light shine, that men will see your light. It didn't tell me to start playing with my light because somebody else want to be in darkness. If two women want to sit there smoking crack, am I supposed to now go down there and smoke crack with them? No. If two women want to verbally abuse each other, and I say, hey, sister, you shouldn't do that, and they tell me, F you, fine, do you. I'm going over here. You understand? This is why I say it's time for us to raise the standard. It's time. In other words, once we've laid out our intellectual disagreement, once we have laid out our intellectual discourse, it says, write the vision, make it plain. A lot of people take that scripture out of context. Here's the reality of that scripture. When he wrote, write the vision, make it plain, everybody uses it for a positive discourse. But if you read the scripture correctly, he was giving correction in that vision. Exactly. He was giving correction in how they was living. He was defining their sins and what they had to do to correct it. There's another part of the scripture that says, if my people who are called by my name repent and turn from their wicked ways, then will I heal their land. A lot of people's land is not healed because they haven't turned from their wicked ways.
You sure right.
So hold on. So
on the desert.
Yes, sir.
I gather all this.
I'll be on the phone. You Uncle Stu later.
I get that, we should not call women B's and H's, and women should not call us ain't shit niggas, and that's all well and good. But do you believe that? You said you're a pastor. Do you believe that you got to meet people at their level? Like, you have kids. Do you make your kids come up to your level, or do you meet them at their level when you want them to get a point across? Especially
I know you're not supposed to answer a question with a question, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that I have been above you tonight, or have I spoken exactly where you are?
I think it was a mixture. To me, it's kind of a mixture. It's a mixture. Yeah. And only why is that? Because sometimes once I noticed, because I'm 31, a lot of older guys, they tend to speak at us instead of with us. And that's just like, and look, I don't know about nobody else. I grew up in a single mother household. And a lot of times I know when someone's talking with me and talking at me. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times you can't sit up here and feel that guys are being disrespectful. Sometimes we're just meeting people at their level. Like, that's all well and good. When Jesus, and I don't know the Bible by heart like y'all, but
don't worry about it.
It doesn't matter.
I'm assuming when Jesus went out there and talked to Mary Magdalene and all them people, he met them on their level. But
my question would be, how do you interpret how I spoke to you or to anybody in the panel? You by yourself.
I mean, I interpret to it's very wise words. I agree. You gotta govern your own self, and let the people that's at the bottom, fall short, because that's them. But if we're talking all as a panel, we're all different leaders, right? So sometimes leadership is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, me and Brian may not be the same person. Me and Lance may not be the same. Jedi, so on and so on. But if a man call and I'm not saying I'm agreeing to it, but if a man call a woman a B and she still, and that's how you got to get through it to her, then I mean, I look at it as okay, well, that's what it took. Because
never
remind me
have to do that
of
to
Poetic
get the real
Justice. Remember Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson and Tupac?
Yeah,
But do you? But think of it like this, Chi.
I remember the movie, but also
No. But think of it like this.
But also, okay, go ahead, because we're crossing.
Okay, if you think of it like this, here's the beauty of the conversation. You just asked me, do people at least my age speak to you or at you? And you know what? You kind of answered your own question in a wise way. Do you notice what did Lance say? He said, you know what? I give you that. But Lance also know I didn't personally belittle him. I didn't personally belittle Brian. I came to exact where they are, but then what did I do? I raised it just a little bit. Did I say I was perfect? I didn't. I know exactly where these two is at, including where you at. I've been down that road where people have tried to talk above me or people tried to just give me stuff. Sometimes I'm just planting a seed. You may not take it now. It may not start to grow and develop in you 6 months from now, year from now. Might take time. But the fact that your humility says, okay, I'm willing to listen. Matter of fact, I'm willing to challenge. Okay, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to challenge. What did Brian say? Hey, let me challenge what you said. Okay. And then what happened? What was the response? I didn't say, well, yo, man, you don't challenge me. I'm old. I'm the authority. Don't you see? I got more gray hair than you. Let me tell you something, little boy. I didn't do none of that. I gave him his chance to speak. And what did he do? He brought a little bit of clarity to the conversation. Right? So what did I say? Hey, in the end, hey, I respect you. If this is how you rolling and the people you talking to is doing this, then you good.
I would respond to that as well.
Sure, Sir.
Yeah, sir. Real quick. So earlier, Uncle Stu said that he would like people that in the comments that to drop the link and have them come on. So we had a young lady right now that's sitting backstage right now waiting to come on, and she says she wants to come up. And she got something she wants to say. So let me bring her on and let her get her thoughts out. She wants to address some things that Uncle Stu and somebody said. Here she is.
Hello. So I can't really be on here long because I'm out of town with family for the holiday, but I just wanted to get on here and say, you know, when I made the comment in the chat about, you know, it wasn't about the comment that you brought up, Joe. It wasn't the check men, but it's when women say the same thing that men say. It's like, oh, well, that don't make sense, or oh, you know, well, you know, when I don't know if it was okay, when Sir Hell was saying that exact same the case, you know,
you're freezing.
You're freezing up pretty bad.
He literally said the same thing that I said, and it was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. When we're discussing women and a woman makes a comment, it's like sometimes it's like, okay, well, we don't know what we're talking about. I understand that women have to hold other women accountable for certain things, and those are the type of women that I want to surround myself around. That's the type of women that I surround myself around with, like Talk Hell in the comments. That's the type of woman I would want to be around. Somebody who is married, who has a husband, who speaks the way he speaks. He doesn't come off as, you know, forget about what women are talking about. Hey, women are saying this because of this. When he talks about leadership, he gave examples. Women have to follow a certain type. They follow after whoever they want to follow. So if you're a certain type of leader, then that's what you're gonna attract. That's the type of women you're gonna attract. And that's been my whole point ever since the show has been on. But it's like, oh, well, that don't make sense. You know, it's the woman's fault. Why are women not holding other women accountable for this? So, you know, I just wanted to go on here and say it's not the check men. It's not that anybody's checking anybody. It's just certain times you brought up a comment that I made. And my whole thing was, why is it that you see it when a man says it, but when I said it, it was like, oh no, this is the same thing I've been saying, and Bell has even said multiple times on the show since we've been having these conversations about women. So I just kind of get confused on why the same conversation and the same context gets brought back up in the same way when we've already discussed, these same issues. So that was just my whole take on it. That was my little say so. I just
Hey,
wanted to get on here and say that.
Caleb,
Yeah,
am I disrespectful towards women?
not at all. I don't feel that way.
Nevaeh
And I don't
says
feel
that I
as
use the
though
B
I don't
word
feel
a
as Sir
lot.
Hell is disrespectful towards women either, or Uncle Stu. I don't feel like
But the rest
y'all
of
are
us are.
disrespectful towards.
Do you feel like the rest of us are? Do you feel like the rest
I
of us
think
are?
artist named Shy definitely is.
Yeah,
But
I
go
need
ahead,
you.
Caleb.
Can you like put names to people?
I mean,
I don't need you to name.
I mean,
I don't
there's
feel like
accountability.
artists.
You
I
don't
feel
have to
like
give
artists.
names. I know I'm
You don't have
disrespectful
to
as
give a
fuck
name. I just say
to
like
everybody.
Lance
Like,
is a fool.
like I don't have
This
to have anybody tell me
Can I
that.
say
But
something
you
real
know,
quick?
Go ahead, Stu.
Only thing I want to say to you, my sister, whenever I'm on a panel, I actually don't read the chat. And I don't read the chat for several reasons. Number one, I feel when I'm on a panel, I'm speaking to the panelists as opposed to the chat.
Right.
The other reason why I don't talk to the chat is because some people may write something that they don't really mean to say, or they'll write something and it be grossly misinterpreted. So I would encourage you, as a woman who doesn't mind speaking, as a woman who has a clear thought and a clear expression, that when these panels come up, be one of the panelists and speak whatever you feel based on the subject matter at hand. There is nothing wrong with speaking. There is nothing wrong with maybe bringing clarity, because men are going to talk one way, women talk a different way. Maybe you can bring clarity to some of the topics or some of the issues at hand. He gave both of us
I
two
mean,
eyes. Go ahead.
even with me not being on the panel, other women have said the exact same thing I've said, and have said the exact same thing Brian has said, and the exact same thing Sir Hell has said. And it's like, okay, when they say it, it's just, I understand what you're saying. Like, I've had these conversations with some of the people here on the panel about me coming up and speak. I have a lot of things going on right now, so that's part of the reason why I'm usually in the comments. And I have 2 young children, which are my main focus. So I do want to be on here more, and I will join in from time to time. But at the same time, it's been women on here who said some of the same exact things. And it's like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. Or women don't hold other women accountable because of this. And, it's like, again, my whole thing is you attract what you are. If you're around certain individuals, we can't, that's just my whole thing. We're speaking about women that don't hold other women accountable for certain things. That's just people in general. It's men out here that don't hold other men accountable for things. I feel like we worry too much about the people that don't hold other people accountable, if you get what I'm saying. And sometimes it's kind of like, okay, that's life. You're going to have individuals. We need to be talking to those people. You get what I'm saying? If we're going to be talking about people that don't hold other women accountable for certain things, let's talk to them, not, make general comments. Well, why do women not do this? And let's actually talk to a woman that let's bring some of those women on to get an understanding why they feel the way they feel. Not somebody who's on the show and saying, well, I don't know anybody like that. We've had several women come on here and say, well, I don't know women like that. A lot of the women who's been on this panel have said, hey, the women I surround myself around, they do this, they do that. So it's hard for us to speak on those individuals when we're not around those types
Let me
of
give
women.
you, allow me 5 minutes. Sir, can you do me a favor? Put back up Miss Brittany B, 1056.
Hey, Brittany B, I'm trying to get her to cam up right now. Because Brittany go hard, bro.
That's my
Now,
I'm trying to
you
get Brittany
see
to
what
cam
Brittany
up.
B just said? See, I know Brittany B because she know Uncle Stu be on these YouTube streets.
Hey, man, Brittany B go hard, bro.
So let me explain to you, young lady, why men say what they say. And since you say you don't know any women, let me introduce you to them. Okay, right now, any one of these men on this panel can be accused of a violation, and no court in America will investigate the accuser. That's a fact. Any one of these men right now can say hi to a woman at his job, he will be considered harassment. Nothing would be done. He can lose his career just on an allegation. No woman would say anything. There is something called verbal abuse. Hold on. There is something defined as verbal abuse. This is when you can verbally assault the man, hit him, and nothing is done. So what do I mean by nothing is done? You can look on any television program, you can look on any show, and it'll be a slap of a man, and you'll say, yeah, get him, girl. You can look at any movie. Yeah, stab him, girl. You can look at anything, and there's cheering and rooting because she's been hurt and that man's been violated. So there's nothing done. We have an entire family court system that would say if you got a divorce, that man is not even permitted to see his child, but he better give up a check. And if he don't give up a check, that man is going to go to jail. And while he's in jail, the child support case is still going to be going on. His bill is going to get higher. He's going to lose his driver's license. He's going to lose his right to vote. And then he loses his citizenship once he loses his right to vote. Again, no women will ever speak up against that. Why? Because it goes back to my original argument. Once I have the power, I will not give up the power just to let you wear the crown. So a lot of times a man cannot speak up for the simple fact that he will probably lose his job. Just the fact that he's on this panel, if he dares say something and somebody on his job clip what he just said, guess what? He might be fired tomorrow by 12 o'clock and the woman will still have a job, even if she cussed each and every single one of us out on this panel. Women hold a lot of power now. And so a lot of times these men cannot speak. That's why on YouTube, there's a section called the white manosphere and the black manosphere, because they can't speak in the real atmosphere. So that's to answer your question as to why they are saying women are not holding women accountable. So when you say, we never seen this, I have now revealed it to you. I believe it.
That's why I said, let me clear up, because I know what I said. What I mean as far as I don't surround myself around individuals. Not that I don't know women like that, but anybody who knows me and knows, like, I've lost some female friends behind me holding them accountable when it comes to certain things. I'm the type of woman that is going to say, hey, friend, I don't like that you do this. Like when it comes to child support, a lot of, women that I've been around, they don't like my view when it comes to child support. They don't like my view when it comes to a lot of things that I feel like women should take a deeper look at and understand these systems that are in place to criminalize our Black men. So when I have certain conversations with women, that is me holding them accountable. But as far as me speaking, I'm more so speaking majority. Most of the women that I know personally in my life, the people that I hang around, the majority of the people that are in my life are women that hold other women accountable. So when men say certain things like, why aren't women holding other women accountable for certain things? Sometimes I look and I'm like, well, I wonder who we talking about. Like, I would want to speak to these specific individuals versus, a broad statement. Well, why are women not doing this, and why are women? The women that I know don't. It's not all women. I'm not saying that all women don't do certain things or don't hold other women accountable, but the women that I know and a lot of other women have said the same thing. It's not that we don't hold other women accountable. If we see somebody doing something wrong, I feel like we call it out. Most women that
can I
I
respond
know
to that?
call it out. That's
I
just
think
my
what it is,
personal opinion. So it's hard for me to see something when I don't see it that often. I don't surround myself with certain type of people. If I know that a person is gonna be negative all their life and they're never gonna listen or hear what anybody else has to say, I will try to talk to them. I'll tell them where I feel like they're wrong, because that's my opinion of what's right and wrong. But if they continue to do something that I don't like, or they don't seem like the type of friend that wants to listen, or they don't see a problem with how they're moving, then it's like, okay, right, I don't surround myself with those people. But the majority of the women that I meet on the day-to-day, they're not those type of individuals. So it kind of just sometimes shock me when certain men say certain things. We know we got raggedy women.
Offends you.
You know, it offends me, right? It offends me because we know we got raggedy women out here. Those are the women that I feel like we should be talking to. But when we make general comments like, well, it's just like if I get on here and I say, why do all men not hold other men accountable? I would think that the majority of the men on this platform would say, the men we know hold other men accountable.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Sir Hall.
Yes.
Sir Hill.
Yeah, so Caleb, first of all, great point. What you're saying, absolutely, what you're saying is true. The thing is that women who are not like you are the loudest. Like, women like you are not. You guys don't have the microphone. You guys are not what we see on a day-to-day basis. We see ratchetness on a global scale. It's just what we see in our culture.
Yes,
and I
sir.
think what has to happen is.
Let me ask real quick, Sir Hill.
Let me just finish real quick. Let me just finish real quick.
I just want to ask: is that media though?
But no. So just listen to what I'm saying. This is women generally fall in line with whoever is the loudest. You can go anywhere. Whatever woman is more assertive, more loud, who is more aggressive in what she says, women who don't have that same type of personality are going to be silent. It doesn't mean that they agree with what's being said. And so what we see from a cultural perspective is that women who don't hold those same values, who don't hold accountable, women who actually say things like, girl, get the bag. No matter what you do to get the bag, no matter who you have to trample over, no matter if you have to destroy your family, have to show your body, right? Girl, get the bag, and it's empowerment. We have so much of that. That's what's loud right now. And women who are like you, while you are saying the truth, we don't see as much of you as we see as much of that, right? So when we speak to women and not holding women accountable, we're not saying this just because we're seeing it on media. A lot of us see it in our own families. Some of us see it from our own mothers and our sisters, right? Some of us see it from our ex-girlfriends. And so from a large scale, we're speaking not only from the context of what we see on media, but this is just in communities in general. Women like you don't have the microphone. Your voice is not amplified, which is why we love when you come to platforms like this, because you become a breath of fresh air, because it's not what we typically see, right? So my response to what you're saying is that while we can do a better job of putting modifiers and really identifying who exactly we're referring to, what we're saying is that from a cultural perspective, women like you don't have the loudest microphones. You don't have the influence. We see Cardi B's, we see Lizzo's. And it's not to say that they represent, it's just saying that these are the people that's being pushed. This is what we see. I think that's the point.
I want to comment on that though. But I want to comment on that. These women do exist though. And they are acting in the shape and form that the atypical man wants the atypical marriageable woman to like actually act. This is what y'all want. Y'all want quiet, but then you overlook those women who are discernible in character, and you only see the person with the megaphone. But that's not to say that they're the only ones that's out there. And even still, to piggyback on Uncle Stu, that doesn't make them any less valuable either. They have went through stuff. I think one of the issues that most men have is that they don't recognize that they've been through stuff either. And I think that's one of the vulnerability. I feel like, especially in marriage, even though I've never been married, I can say that I feel like that's one of the viable points that men fail. Like they don't allow for that correction. they don't get, well, first, they don't get with women that they trust to actually have a part in that correction and a
Now,
part.
you know how I feel about this.
Let
I think a lot of
me
this is on the men.
say this because I'm getting ready to get off the panel. Brittany B, just know that Uncle Stu got Jedi Mike. He gonna get that degree because I got about 4 men right here in the 757 waiting on him to come home tomorrow, and he better get that degree because we older men will get him if he don't get that degree. So we are holding Jedi Mike totally accountable. If he ain't studying, he gonna get off these YouTube streets and be in the book. So trust me, Brittany, we got him holding to being accountable over here. So he gonna be good.
Yeah, I got one more semester.
Before I get off, I'm gonna say this to you, young lady. I totally agree with Sir Hale. I got my laptop. Okay, Brittany. But what I'm going to say to you, young lady, I totally agree with Brother Hale said. So this is what I'm going to offer you. All right. You go to my page, you subscribe, and now you're going to have a microphone. If I don't start seeing you on some of my lives, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to come find you and I'm going to get you because I'm Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Don't let the great fool you. You feel me? So now you have no more excuses not to have your voice spoken. You don't need a platform. I'm giving you mine.
Period.
Any excuses? Any justifications? Okay, I thought
No, I don't
so.
have any excuses.
And most of my programs start at 6 o'clock at night. The latest will be 7. I see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Be on my page. We're gonna be talking about capitalism.
Yeah.
Come on, capitalism.
I love y'all. Hey, let me get up out of here. I got some things I got to
Uncle
do.
Stu, thank you for blessing us once again with your presence.
Is all hearts, mind, and clear? Cause Chi, is heart, mind, and clear, sir?
We good, big homie. We good.
All right, Aaron, you been quiet tonight like a Catholic church mouse. Next time I come back, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Don't be quiet on me no more. You understand?
Lance, I got you. I got you.
Lance, I want you to hit that chest, Lance. Hit it. Hit it. All right. Hey, yo, Brian.
What's going on, black man?
Block, man? Did checks on my block alone.
Oh, man. I'm going to let you have them, man. I'm going to let you have them, man.
Y'all
was accountability right
there. Brother Hale, I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Yes, sir. See you there.
Yes, sir. All right, Jedi. You be back tomorrow or you come back?
I'm already back, actually. I'll be heading back, but I'm going to be back to finish off my exams next week. I'll be back for Christmas, so I'll hit you up.
When you going back to school? What day?
Tomorrow morning.
You going back tomorrow?
And I'll be back around. I'll be back around like the last 2 weeks of December.
All right, let us know because if you was going to be around the Sunday, then me and Intentional would have came and got you.
Okay, I'll hit you up in the end of the month. Don't worry about it. I'll hit you up. Yeah.
Okay, we got you. All right, y'all have a good night.
You too, man.
I don't go still.
Yeah.
Uncle Stu, man, he dropped some jewels, man. Like he's just, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, I mean, he's gonna bring it, man. But anybody else want to respond to what Kaylin was saying about, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I would love. I understand where Kaylin come from, man. And that's what I always say too. Like it's just in social media make the woman look so fucked up out here, man. It just does. Like I see the Cardi B's, and I always speak out against it, like how social media or entertainment or whatever is sexualizing women so much that we all thinking that most of them like this, but in reality, and what I see every day, I don't see those type of women. I'm not around those type of women. And most women I'm around like Kaylin, you know what I'm saying? Like most women I'm not, even the woman I'm with, I never had to tell her to submit to me. It was always a thing she did, And even before her, just the female friends I had, they did things for me, and I just don't understand. Do guys have female friends and they can see that like these are good women or something, like making that like that's a good example for them to see in women, instead of just looking at these particular women on the negative side all the time, because we always focus on the negative. of the woman so much that sometimes we forget about the positive. It's just like when you hear about when they say, well, these little motherfuckers bad, these kids bad as a motherfucker, but we don't never talk about the little boy that just
Right.
graduated. I think he got his PhD. We don't never really talk about that as much because we always focus on the negative shit. Now, for me personally, I like the nigga shit. I like ignorant shit. I'm an ignorant motherfucker, and I'm cool with it. It's a girl named Navy say, "Right, I used to be in her word." Yeah, I use that motherfucker a lot. It's cool. Character. I'm on the internet. But in real life, when I'm with a woman, I don't call no woman no bitch or no hoe. I don't disrespect her or nothing like that. So for Navia, this is just entertainment, baby. So I'm gonna use bitches and hoes a lot. But in real life, man, I do respect the woman. You know, they're just entertainment. So please don't take it offensive. It might sound offensive. If Dwayne tell me stop saying, I say it. But this just how I talk in real life when I talk shit and swallow spit.
I mean,
Yeah,
real quick, I just want to say this. Like, I get that. I think it's more media projected because even the men, like, you know, we got the media projects men, black men, a certain way. You know, that they're dogs and they this and they
Yeah,
that. Like they shit on women. They call all women bitches and hoes and they treat them that way. You know, so I think it's more, to me, I look at it more from a media standpoint. That's what I feel like a lot of this talk is about. Even when I hear other people on other podcasts say the same thing, it's about, we see this on TV, we see this on the internet. The internet is not reality to me. Like,
exactly.
I mean, it didn't
I'm not
used to
even
be. It
going.
is now.
yeah, you're
It
right.
It
really
is
It
now,
is.
is
and that's. I think that's the
everything.
point that
Hold
Uncle
on.
Stu is
Can
making.
I
That
can I
is
add
now.
an edit? Can I add an insert? I mean, because think about it. We imitate art. I mean, whether we can't avoid it. Like, I'm sorry, no one's turning off the TV, no one's turning off their phone. I mean, technically, we're the media. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a walking contradiction. We're media. We're social media. We're talking on social media. So when we get on these things and talk about it, I just feel like I don't see the issue if you bring out something. Hey, I seen this the other day on the news. Hey, I seen Kanye walking with a bald head. I think, like, people got to understand when we sit here and we dialogue and we sit here and give our discernment, it's not to be denigrating. It's just more of like, I'm giving my opinion, but I'm also going to be like, that doesn't make sense. And I think people kind of get sensitive, and I feel like people get sensitive a lot of times because they just don't know how to take other people when they say stuff. Like, everybody's not going to be, I'm not Sir Hall, I'm not Brian, I'm not Aaron, I'm not Lance. Or they're none of, and they're none of,
one more time.
my
Yeah,
bad, Sir Hell, Sir Hell, my
I
bad.
thought
Or
I thought
Dwayne,
I
I'm
thought we were
sorry.
entertaining this.
I'm about to call him Joe because he looked like Joe with the fedora.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, man, it is what it is. Like, you got to just take, if it's truth, why, if the medicine is truth and the truth is medicine, like, doesn't matter if it's nasty, take it. Like, if you don't want to take it, then don't ask for it. I mean, that's just me.
I'll just ask, so y'all, have you guys heard of this? It's an actual role called an attention engineer. Have you guys heard of this?
Nah.
No.
And if you got, I want you guys, when you get a chance to Google this, it's called an attention engineer. This is the job of individuals who are behind social media platforms and websites. The whole goal is to curate content that's based off of what you see and believe. So when we go to YouTube or Facebook or TikTok and you click on a video, what an attention engineer does is they design it in such a way where it's going to keep feeding you what you're interested in. What has happened with us is when we click on something that is salacious, or we keep getting fed more and that. And the more and more we read it, the more and more we hear it and see it, it becomes our norm and our reality, to the point where you think that this is real reality. I make that point to say that, to Shai's point, social media is not going anywhere. We've got to be responsible and not allow ourselves to be sucked into this stuff, get out into the real world, have real conversations with people. Like, we got to do that, right? Because I've noticed something. What you made a point earlier about, and it made me rethink that, you know, a lot of women do say, I don't know women like that. The women that I hang around, and I noticed something. My wife is, I love my wife. The only women that hang around her are women who are aspiring to do stuff. And women who don't want to do stuff will find other friends who are on that level. So I think there is a degree of truth to that. Like, it really made me rethink that I think women who are doing well often get the bad end of the stick because we point at them like, why aren't you doing the work? And the truth is, good women hang around other good women, and women who
Yep.
don't want to be good will find another circle to run with. And so I appreciate Kaylin actually bringing up that point.
I agree.
Because I do think that we are really hard on women. Like my wife,
Right.
let me tell you the truth. I don't want my wife hanging around certain people. I don't want to mess up what I have. Like my wife will get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and will make me some breakfast. I don't want her to hang around anybody who's going to ask her, why are you doing that for your man? I want to protect her.
Right.
I want to protect my wife from them women. Like she just came in here and made me some dinner. I said, babe, I want you to make a sign for decoration for outside. This woman went and crafted a design for outside. I said, babe, I want a wreath. She didn't go buy one. She went to go buy the stuff to make the wreath. Look, I don't want my wife being tainted. And so what I've noticed is that women who are of a certain caliber hang around women who are of a certain caliber.
Exactly.
So let me apologize to Kayla and to any of the women who are on here that you guys get the fire and the flame about what you should be doing. Let me say we appreciate you guys for not only saying stuff and holding women accountable, but for also being that example, because it gives men who are discouraged that dang, all these women are thoughts. They don't care about being, they just want our money. They just want. I appreciate you guys holding up a standard in the way that you live, the way that you conduct yourself. It really means a lot to guys who really want to be married. And this whole explosion of the red pill is poisoning a lot of us, because a lot of us have gotten our heart broken. A lot of us have been put on child support. A lot of us have been cheated on. And a lot of us have some bitterness because we really love these women. So I appreciate you. Of course, Talk Hill, my wife. I appreciate women like you guys who hold up that standard. So I wanted to put out there, I appreciate y'all for that.
Sir, hey, I got a question. Do you think
Yes, sir.
this is why I think what goes on with a lot of men also. I think a lot of men haven't fully healed from previous relationships from women. And I think they carry a lot of that hate to their new relationships, or their view is distorted. Now, for me, I've been hurt. I've been cheated on. I had a chick send me another nigga dick picture by mistake before, you know what I'm saying, on some wild shit like that. Now, me seeing that, in my mind, I could think all women are like that, but they're not. And it's easy for me to move on to another relationship and grow better, but I think a lot of men don't know how to heal yet. I don't think they can't let certain stuff go and look at it like all women are not like Cardi B or speaking like Cardi B. There are dope women out here in real life. Just because you see this shit on social media, a lot of this stuff, a lot of shit, even a lot of shit I type on social media be some stupid shit in my head that I would never probably say in real life in a conversation with someone. But I think, just like you said, we get social media or the media or the internet so colluded with our reality that I think people forget it's a real life out here. And you got to heal before.
Dwayne, this is when you say you preaching, Doc. Brian just said a whole mouthful on this one. Look, I think a lot of when a man makes a woman his world, whatever the woman he made his world she does, it affects the world that he sees. That's just how it is. So if he loved this woman and he put her on his pedestal and she breaks his heart, then all women are like that. And I can't be too hard on them, because that's the risk you take when you love somebody. They influence how you see other people. It is what it is. But I do think that we do have to take some time to heal. But men don't heal by themselves. Men have to heal with other women. That's what it is. So you got to have another woman who gives. And right, and this is a vulnerable thing. Like, women don't know this about men.
You're talking, but you're muted, Caitlin. Or your speaker's not working. We can't hear you.
Hey, that's some real stuff, though, sir. Sir, that's some real shit.
Like a lot of men, we're taught when we get hurt, we go heal by ourselves. But to heal correctly, it takes, and it doesn't have to be a woman you're in a sexual relationship with. It has to be a woman who you value, who cares about you, to restore your health back into what you feel about women. Because a woman you love, it ain't, if you like it, all right, it's the woman you love. What she does will affect everything you see. And I think this is why you see men becoming cold, because it's easier to become cold, callous, so that you don't care and get your heart involved. Because look, we talk about women guys, let's be honest. We talk a lot about women getting hurt in relationships. A lot of men get hurt too. And a lot of us, we carry around that hurt for a long time. And we can have a good woman in our face, but if we haven't healed from that, we're going to take her through the mud. we're gonna almost destroy that woman. And then and only then when we lose her, then we like, dang. Right? Because we get to her what was done to us. So I appreciate what you said, Brian. We do,
but I mean, black men are destroying each other. Like I brought up the fact that like what's up with calling a dude a simp? Like why is it inappropriate to be emotionally vulnerable to somebody? If we're not devaluing women,
but you have to know. Lance, you have to know what simp means.
I know what simp means. I know the verb. I know the urban.
What's your definition of simp?
A nigga who is subject to a mediocre pussy. I already get that. I already get that it's a person who will sit up there and will do something else. It's a dude that will do something basically for a woman who doesn't deserve it. But who is it but that man that decides what his woman deserves? If he's chosen her, there has to be a certain amount of respect that man must be given and that woman must be given. There was a day when we didn't disrespect relationships, no matter how dysfunctional they were. That was your relationship. We would be there, and we would village around, and we would do what we could to heal what was wrong in that relationship, and never like promote them breaking up if you really felt like they were supposed to be together. But we grew up in a society where we've just 10 years ago got men, especially black men, to the point where they can sit and just really admit what they even heard about. We just got to the point where we just started seeing therapists.
Lance, that's two different things. But what you're saying is valid, but the context is just different. So when
I'm saying we're mixing it. We're mixing it by labeling it. We're not able to see the discernment. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there are different.
Emotional vulnerability takes a level of intelligence to be self-aware, like Stephen R. Covey's book. Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence. So emotional vulnerability is what we need. A simp, however, is somebody who they don't have any standards and they are almost buying a woman's affection. How gifts, money, doting, compliments. So it's coming from a place of a deficit. Like they don't know who they are and they're trying to do this to win a level of validation. That's what a simp is.
But the label continues to incur the deficit. That's what I'm saying. You're devaluing him. You're devaluing her, or the potential for them
I'm just
to
giving
be
you the
better.
definition of what simp is. I agree with what you're saying, but let's be honest. They exist. Should we call them that? No. But I'm just making the distinction.
We should call them that. Yeah, man. We should.
Give himself a chance to have a mate.
Can I interject one thing? See, this is what I'm so baffled and confused about. Okay, if we're talking about the black community as a whole, I don't see what the issues if men talk about men talk about women talk about men. Because if we're looking at this as a perspective, say if let's hypothetically, I got two sons. They're small. One's a bad kid, one's a good kid, hypothetically. Do we say, well, since that kid's a bad kid, we let him go? No. But on reverse, if I have two daughters, one of the daughters is acting stupid and the other one's good, do I say, well, shit, the stupid one can go fend her own, and the other one, she don't, I'm just gonna tell her not to hang out with her stupid sister. Like, to me, if you're gonna call out this, I don't see what's wrong with calling out bullshit. It is bullshit. Like, bullshit is bullshit. Like, if my son does it, that's bullshit. We can call that. That's me, my only thing. And if a woman wants to come and have a conversation with a man, or a man wants to have a conversation to win, I don't see if a man comes off in a certain way and you feel it's less than, or a man's just judging, or a man is not taking the words right. Okay, cool. You can sit there and talk about it. Because if a woman hops on here, and I'm not saying you, Caitlin, but like Sha hopped on the other way, we did not attack her. We just took her words because we didn't make her say what she said. We just broke down what she said, articulated the way we could, and tried to get an understanding to make the community better. Because I'm sorry, we ain't going nowhere as black people if we want to have this mindset like, well, we don't need to hang around those fucked up black people. Because at the end of the day, those black people are part of the community. Now we can have a civil war if that's going what it's incurred. But at the end of the day, that ain't shit nigga and that ain't shit woman is gonna be part of this community. And guess what? If we don't hang out with them, what about our kids? What about our friends? Just because we hold each other accountable, what about the other people and the other people? Because I believe in 6 degrees of separation. So even if we don't hang out with the fuck shit, somebody else is hang out with the fuck shit.
Well,
So-
not even to bring celebrities in it though, but I
I'ma
mean,
say
y'all
this.
call
Can y'all hear
Russell a
me?
simp, and he did everything
Can
in the
y'all hear me?
Christian view
Because
appropriate
it's
to
not,
Yeah,
we
we can
don't
hear you.
call
attain a
Lance,
woman.
Lance, hold on, talking about Lance. We don't,
Let me
we
wait
no
real quick.
man knocks. Hold on 1 second. Okay,
Artists,
go ahead, lady first. Go ahead.
I just want to say this real quick because I kind of got to get off. I got to get to my kids. But I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to say now, when I talk to a lot of men about women, a lot of, when we're having conversations about women, a lot of times I found myself having to defend myself as a woman. And sometimes that is frustrating because if I'm coming at a man and I'm saying, well, why do men this and why do men that? And they're not the type of man, they're going to think like, okay, well, that must be the people you're hanging around. If they're not that way. And I feel like a lot of times as women, some of the women I know have said the same thing. It feels like we have to defend ourselves a lot of times when it comes to certain conversations. And like I said, I hold women accountable. But when we're having conversations, well, the woman I know didn't do this right. Well, let's talk to them. I want to talk to those type of women. Those are the women I want to talk to. But women that don't, do that, I'm the type of woman that holds other women accountable. And I just don't want to keep having to defend myself.
And that's cool. I think that's cool. I understand women. That's cool. If the women come out here and say that, that's cool. No one, I haven't said, okay, but my thing is, guess what? The people we're talking about, if it doesn't exclude to you, then that's cool. But I'm like, what is so wrong? Because if I go around 6 women and they're talking about men and I got to sit here and defend men, I'm not going to say, well, that's the type of guy you, I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. See, the difference is men are kind of horizontal. We kind of understand. Women are vertical. If it doesn't apply to them, it doesn't make sense. That'd be my only thing. Like literally,
That's a very good assessment.
Like men are horizontal. See, they did this experiment a long time ago. They put a millionaire, a broke guy, janitor, all these types of men in the house, and they didn't break off in sections. They did this experiment with women. Women started breaking their self off. Who's married? Who's had a lot of sex? Who's black and white? Women tend to socialize each other, but then want to have this vertical.
Is it me or is okay? Yeah, Dwayne, you're on mute.
I think he was alluding to one of the things that I saw as well. They had this experiment in New York, and they had this store, and they said you can come in and buy a husband, right?
Yep, I saw it. Yep.
Man, and the women went in and they went from floor to floor to floor, just looking for the better, and then when they got to the top, I think the sign said something about we've offered you everything and you're still not satisfied. The exit is here. Like,
Yep.
and because they went through a whole thing and they just couldn't find, but they did the same experiment with the men, and the men
Stop that floor too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't even make it up the ladder. They was just.
It's just one of those things. It's always horizontal.
Oh,
It's
he came
always.
right back in.
I thought I was already, but it's more of a vertical thing where it's like when Sean got on here, I didn't attack her. She said something, and I'm like, well, black women are not the most educated. Well, she used that as a group thing to validate her point. But when we basically broke that down, she broke away from the pack and say, well, I don't know what y'all talk about other women, but this is me. And I'm like, I'm confused. Are you talking for women or are you not? Because Kaylin thing was, we're talking for women, but I'm like, there's women talking for y'all and misleading y'all too. And we're just breaking down what they're saying. I'm not here to tell a woman she's a hoe or not, because I'll smash a chick. I'm not tripping off none of that. Wherever she is, hey, if I like you, we cool, we can have sex. I'm not tripping off that. But it's like, if you're going to come to the lion's den, you got to be prepared what's going to come out. Like, I'm not about to tiptoe around you. I think that's what makes us a man is I'm not about to tiptoe around you. And if I say it in a way you don't like it, you can do one of two things. Make a rebuttal or leave. That just be my thing, like with the whole situation of we got to go like saying the B word and the H word. Like, man, if I say it the way that you don't like it, you can give me a rebuttal or you're going to leave. That, at the end of the day, that is what it is.
Hey, but let me say this, Sean. This just about a thing about communication. One thing that I've learned as a speaker is you have to determine what you want. is if the goal is just to talk, then talk. If the goal is to reach,
I agree.
Then you've got to tailor what you're saying in a way to reach the audience.
Exactly.
So that means we've got to scale certain things back. Then we got to do it because the goal is to reach, not just to talk. So that's just
So and you got to be careful how you talk to a woman, though.
But you just made a valid point when Uncle Stu came on here. Are we talking at people or are we talking with them? So when I brought that point up, it's like, okay, well, if we talk the way we want to talk, it's okay, leave the rest behind. But if we get at their level, when we all know a ratchet chick, or we all know.
Can I just interject with that, Shy? See, I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing to talk at somebody. Let me give you an example. Yeah, when construction is going on, and there's something that has to be bulldozed, you can't go into it yet. You have to go at it first to break down those walls first, so that you can have access in. And I think that certain people who haven't a lot of us are not used to having direct conversation. And with a lot of women, they're not used to forthright, it is what it is, black and white, no sugarcoating. Women are used to talking feelings and other stuff like that. So I think that it takes a level of mastery and art to be able to communicate with women. It takes skills to do this. Because with my wife, you see I'm talking to you now, I can't talk like this with my wife. Like, she will get emotional and she'll be like, babe, you talking strong at me, right? So I think it's not about what we say. I think it's body language, because that's like 90% of communication. And then it's knowing who you're talking to, knowing your audience, and then tailoring what you're saying to reach them. Now, if you do all of that and then they still can't take it, then that has to do with them. And it's going to take us some time. But here's the other thing as well. Just because a person can't receive it right now does not mean that what you said didn't take effect. Sometimes they have to hear what you said, go process it, think about it, and then the next time they come to you and have this conversation again, they have a little bit more strength and courage to hear what you have to say, right? And this is why communication like this is so valuable, because you can't talk to a woman like we talking to each other right now. I'll give an example. My brother, I had my wife and we had 4 kids. I was earning $500 a week. And I got in a car with him, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, man, I'm dang near in tears. Like, bro, these people ain't paying me right, and I'm complaining and stuff. And I'm looking for him, like, hey, bro, this is gonna be all right, bro. You're gonna be good, man. Just keep your head up." This dude said to me, he said, "Hey, you ain't doing enough." You ever wanted to slap somebody, but you don't slap them because that's your ride home?
Yeah.
I straight up wanted to. I'm talking about spit on the back of my hand and slap the fire out of him. But what he did to me is he talked to me like how men have to talk with each other. Because let's be honest, if I come to you sugarcoating some stuff, you're not gonna respect me like you should.
Right.
You can kind of look at me like I'm at least respecting your ass. Because men know there's a certain degree of candor and transparency we have to have with women. And if we want to go biblical, the Bible tells us to learn how to speak with women according to knowledge. So you got to speak to them on that level. And so I want to make that point, because you can't talk to women like you talk to men. So we got to figure out a way to introduce them to the conversation.
Meet them at that level. So, once again,
exactly.
Early the conversation, it was all about the B's and H's. I'm like, sometimes that's what some chicks are gonna probably understand is the B's and H's. Like, because my thing was, if we're gonna meet them
coach
at that level,
women a different way though. Like, you can't see. I'm the same
men
way.
are the leaders. That's the thing. You get the chance to think that culture.
Lance, if I just walk in the store and I'm hollering at a little, yeah, am I automatically a leader?
Yes.
That depends on you and how you've assessed your leadership. Like when I speak to y'all, I speak directly, but the intent is to make you question yourself. The intent is to make you question your statement and your character. And the intent is to make you question what right or what value system that you have and what kind of leader that you want to be. That's my intention every time I get on the show. I question myself every day about what kind of leader I want to be, what kind of people I want in my life, what kind of influence they're going to have on me, and what kind of influence I'm going to have.
Are we still look, a nigga gonna still be a leader if the chick give me the number or not. So that doesn't go away. I was a leader before I stepped up, and I'm still a leader when I walk away. What I'm saying is, am I her leader when I go to holler at her? That's all I ask. Yes or no?
Don't think about that.
That's up to
think about it in silos.
That's what he interjected. So I'm just asking.
That's up to her.
Leader. It's leadership. That's what it is, right? It's leadership. We all represent the same fabric So we're all leaders. It doesn't mean that you're personally taking her home and responsible for her, but there is a sense of duty to the overall community. And we got to think like that. So we got to culture our women to not accept that.
Sir Hall, you just said some great. No, sir. Yeah, Sir Hall. Say it right.
Sir Hell.
Sir Hell.
Sir Hell.
Like ice.
Sir Hell.
When it comes down.
You know what? Let me say this. I and a lot of women want to, and I'll say this because a lot of women want to. A lot of them don't want that tone from a man that holds them accountable. They want to be coddled. And let me give you an example. There's this young lady I know. I will not say her name because I don't have permission to use it. She has a daughter. Her daughter was 14 years old. Her daughter was already promiscuous, just out there, right? She's asking people at the church, pray for my baby, be there for my child, and all this stuff. And, the people were doing the best they could. What happened one day was there was this guy at the church. He's an old football coach. And what he did was he said, if you will allow me. Now, this girl's in a 2-parent home. He said, if you will allow me to come into your home and into your child's life, I think I can turn her around. She said, we'll do anything. That's fine. The first thing he did on a Saturday morning was walked in the house and pulled the comforter off her while she was asleep and told her, get your ass up out this bed right now. And I mean, he was like a drill sergeant, right? Let's fast forward 3 years. She did exactly what he said. She did a 180. She's graduated college. She's doing well for herself. And he stays on her ass like a militant. And her own daddy said, why wouldn't she respect me that way? Because the daddy was saying, baby, you got to get better. What is it that we're doing? Is there anything we can do? What can we? And he was coming to her in a more softer way. But this other guy came in and she has more respect for him than she has for her own father. Right? So sometimes it takes that punch in the mouth to get you together. Not literally, but sometimes it takes that somebody to come and snatch you up to make you better.
But
So
not in an antagonizing way. Not in an antagonizing way. A lot of women feel antagonized, like on how certain things being said about them. You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes with you, Dwayne, certain things you said about women, I'm like, come on, Dwayne, and I can see how they can come off towards a woman, and that's why I say I ain't knocking it because I understand it's entertainment, you know what I'm saying? But just on the real side of things, I just think the communication when you speak to a woman, you gotta feel the body language, you gotta feel her energy, man. You know what I'm saying? When you first talk to a woman, just pay attention on what she responds to the best, instead of thinking what all women respond to, because every woman responds to different things. And I think that's a lot of the problem with men have that, okay, just because this girl responded to this, well, every woman gonna respond to that. Now, man, when you listen to the woman talk for the first 5 minutes, get a feel of her, then let her go. If she talk a lot, let her talk.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what she's saying, listen to her. Well, I don't think we listen to women like we should. Cause I think that's
Brian,
where
that's
where we, and I think that's where certain guys don't know how to talk to a woman. I think that's where the problem is too. A lot of guys don't have conversation. They don't know how to be a chameleon and be different in different places. You can't talk to a ratchet chick like you talk to like a one with money.
Yeah. Let me clear this up.
Straight facts.
Let me put this in context. I'm not saying we calling the bitch in the hoe if I'm going to go holler at the store. I can talk to a woman. I can take rejection. I can talk to a woman. If I'm at the store, it's all about the mind. You're right, all about the mindset. If I'm seeing it, I'm in the mindset, I'm trying to go holler at her. If it's my cousin or another chick that's asked me, Shelton, why can I not keep, artist name cheap, why can I not keep no man? Well, I'm not going to talk to her like I talk to a chick in the store. But then also, too, if I got that level of conversation with you, then it can be catered to that. So
think about what you said, though. Think about what you said.
So if I'm at the
office, keep a man, you're going to talk to her in that way.
Hold on.
Think about what you just said. Why can't I keep a man and think about how you're talking to her?
No. But I also said depending on the level of our relationship too, which cousin I'm talking to. Because all our cousins, we don't treat the same. Let's be freaking clear about this. You don't talk to all your cousins the same. That's what I'm saying. I'm not being aggressive with every woman I see. No, I'm not an idiot. I'm not dumb. If I'm trying to woo a woman, I'm trying to, hit the sheets with her. Yeah, my conversation is going to be catered different. But if we're talking about these conversations about the Black community, then okay, I'm taking my dick out the situation And depending on the term of the conversation, if a chick comes to me and say, "Hey, why do a guy not open the door?" I'm not gonna say because the way you dress. Shit, maybe it's just not the guy that you want. If a chick comes to me and say, "Well, every time a guy don't want to listen to this," okay, well, maybe it's how you coming at it. I don't knock a Kevin Samuels as much as I don't knock another person like a Russell Wilson, because they're both needed in the community. I can't shame Kevin Samuels and I can't necessarily shame Russell Wilson. See, Lance thinks that we make fun of simps. No, we can see too much simping. Too much of anything can ruin us.
I don't
too
think
much
Russell
water,
is a
I
simp.
can drown. Too much oxygen, I can breathe. Too much of Russell Wilson can ruin the community. Just as much as too much of Kevin Samuels. There's a balance to everything. That's all I'm saying.
I thought Russell was like the example of like what we were trying to cultivate in the community.
Yeah, I don't think Russell is a simp.
I think Russell Wilson is a great guy. If you go back to my first show, I said Russell Wilson is a great man. But what he represents to the women that y'all say y'all don't hang around, they represent as an opportunity. I can be who the fuck I want to.
You can't put that. No. That Russell, he shouldn't have to bear that responsibility for that.
I'm not saying no. It's not Russell. See, it's not Russell. I'm not saying it's Russell himself. What I'm saying is
in the manosphere, he's considered a simp because of him marrying Sierra. That's just what it is.
I don't know man about who he chooses to marry. I'm not going to
let me say this. I don't think there's not enough men who are speaking up saying, "Bro, I appreciate you stepping up and doing what you got to do." I think the issue, what really happened, is when they saw Russell Wilson treating a future son better than his own father was. Once that happened, that's when all of this stuff came about.
I thought it was more how Sierra kind of propped it up and shitted on Future and never really taking accountability of you.
It was that. I'm telling you, if you go back, it was that son. It was that picture that they took. With Russell Wilson and
he had Russell's jersey on. Yeah, he had Russell's jersey on.
And let's be clear about this.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I don't either. But think about this. If Russell didn't step in, see, this is when we talk about leadership. Future is a freaking terrible example at this point. So Russell Wilson stepped up and gave him a good example of what a leader should be. Now, what the media did is the media added fuel to that and added more context to it than it deserved. So I think what we did is we saw all of that and we assumed that Russell Wilson was doing all of that. Russell Wilson didn't write those blogs. He didn't write those articles. He wasn't the one filming. He was doing the role of what a good leader should do. And the media spent it into a way to marketize to Black women and sell them this illusion of what a fantasy relationship is. It wasn't Russell Wilson's fault.
And guess what, sir?
I just had to say,
hold on, Erda.
But it's not a fantasy.
Hold on. In some
it's
circles,
not a fantasy. Hold on, Lance.
Hold on, Lance. It is a fantasy.
Summer Walker right
now. Dwayne got the flow. Dwayne got the flow.
So it is a fantasy to some people. Because let me tell you why, Lance. Because Russell Wilson, like he just said, they put it out in the media, and now it's a catchphrase amongst women in groups. Women right now are saying, "Girl, I need me a Russell," right? But then my thing is this: you want your Russell, but do you have the qualifications that Sierra has to get that Russell?
When they face their Russell, they will know that.
That's where the fantasy comes in.
You're saying that person,
right? That's where the fantasy comes in. At when you think that you can get your Russell, but you haven't even qualified yourself to get you the bad boy Kroger's, but you want the Russell.
Sierra
but that's what I'm saying. If we have a society, I'm not saying just Russells, but if we have a society of men who lead, women will have. You have to believe that women are followers. Okay, first. Because I think there's still something inside us that sees women as leaders. And I know this is going to sound horrible. I don't know how to put this in biblical standards or any other standards possible, but there is a piece of a woman. My personal opinion, there's a piece of a woman that wants to follow, that wants to be covered, that wants to be cared for,
Absolutely.
that wants affirmation, that wants to be shielded, that wants to be protected, that wants to be put on a pedestal, that wants to be cared for. It's up. If men are going to call themselves leaders, you are the decision maker in which you put your energy into. The blame has to fall on us.
So
It kind of has to if we're going to grab if we're on top of the horse and we're the one that got the reins. We got the motherfucking reins. And we're saying, give us the reins. Give us the reins. We got to start making some hard decisions.
This is not about. This is a look. Once again, Sir Hell. Russell Wilson himself is not the issue. I never said he was the issue.
And I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but with Lance, once again, if we're talking about the black community as a whole, and we're talking about responsible adults, what the hell? We all got daughters at this point, right? So are we telling our daughters not to be accountable? I got an 8-year-old daughter. Are we not telling them not to be accountable? Because at the end of the day, whether a daughter who's 8 years old, whether you get a man or not get a man, you still got to contribute to the society to be an overall. Even if you don't get a man, you be single with 98 cats. You still got to constrive to this community that we call black to still enable yourself to do the right thing, whether you find a man or don't find a man.
Wait, hold on.
Russell Wilson, go ahead.
Remember, Sierra was the one who was the.
Sorry, it's Chief.
So remember, so I'm getting your name wrong.
Dwayne.
I'm from Chicago, so when I see I'm thinking Chicago. But
like you're in a Chief.
Remember, Sierra, she was on the album cover, I think, with 50 Cent, right? She went through that phase. So the real work was not necessarily her acquiring Russell Wilson. The real work was her changing what her appetite was, because a lot of women don't do that. They don't change their appetite from one of the bad boy, from one of the quote unquote bad dude. And I don't want to get into that image, because when we say bad boy, we oftentimes think of somebody wearing boots or wearing Jordans and wearing a hoodie, and that's not necessarily what a bad dude is. But she switched her appetite from what was culturally, you got to have this kind of guy, and made herself wife ready. So that's where the real credit should go. She made herself attractive to a Russell Wilson. Right. So when we talk about it's a fantasy for women who want that lifestyle without doing the cleanup work it takes to be able to not only get married, but to be a good wife for that man.
That's it.
You just basically said the same thing I said, just in a different context.
But that's the thing, though. But if my thing is, you have to invest, but you got to invest in that. Like you can't. I don't feel like you have the right to talk about women. But yet you're a part of the destruction of women.
Okay, you know what? As a man, I can step up and say that I'm a part of the destruction. You will never hear me say that Future is what we truly need for the black community. The same way, if we talking Russells and Simp, Future definitely is what was wrong with it's just a thing. Because if you don't do drugs but telling our young boys to do it, my thing is, who's the common denominator? Is it Russell or is it Future? No, I see one person. See, with the women who wants, like you said, the women that wants to be like Sierra, they don't see none of the things Sierra did. And that's, to me, you're skipping processes. That's all I'm saying. So if someone comes to me and asks me, as a human being, I owe another human being the dignity and the right to give him some true sermon. Doesn't matter how it gets out. So if you come and tell me, why can I not get a Russell? Let me say, well, baby, just wait. Russell gonna come find you. Nah, what you gonna do with yourself? Like, if I come to one of y'all and I say, hey, man, if I come to you and say, man, I can't, Brian, I can't get this little, shit, this, yeah. I don't want Brian to tell me, bro, you just gotta wait. Bro, you might want to lose some weight. Don't wear a Looney Tunes shirt. That's all I'm saying. If I'm talking to another human being, fuck the gender, I'm talking about another human being. Why does it matter if I gotta basically?
If only it was that simple.
Huh? And this is
only it was that simple.
Because we're blaming.
But everybody not the same though, Shy. Everybody not the same, Chief. Everybody not the same.
And I agree. That I do agree. But what
you can't come to folks like you want to. You can still be yourself, but sometimes, man, you gotta go through. You mentioned your cousin. Yeah, you can talk to your female cousin like, yeah, don't be no stupid bitch. Woo. But if you meet people you don't know, that's how I talk. I ain't gonna lie, I talk to you like that. But when I don't call my cousin a stupid bitch. I said don't be like those stupid bitches.
Yeah,
but if you excuse me, but when you talking to people for the first time, you can't, and they ask you a question, you still can't just be yourself fully because you don't know how motherfuckers would take it. So it's still like
You
muted.
Hey, brother, that I agree to. I get it, but when I said I really don't like is when someone does come hard off on you, and people be like, "Well, why you got to say it like that?" That's all I'm saying. I have okay if you want it the first time, the second time, because if our kids keep on burning their hand, are we gonna sit there and say, "Baby, don't do that no more"?
Are you? But here's the thing: how many questions do you ask? Do you allow people to have context or to have comment on your delivery, on your attitude, on your mannerisms, and on your leadership? And do you allow their opinion to actually influence you? Because if you were to ask me, I would tell you it seems as though you speak to sway the opinion, not to receive an opinion or not to receive knowledge. When I hear you, and because I used to be that person before I switched, you say you ask question nigga, but at the same time you say an example. If you were referring to one woman or another woman in either situation, you never said that you would ask them, well, what do you think about the reason you don't receive? Because most people, what I've learned, most people know exactly what they need to do to change. They just don't want to see it. That's the God honest truth.
Yeah.
Deep down, they look in that mirror and they see every single crack in their fucking face, and they just refuse, and they paint it with gold, and they try to make it beautiful. And in actuality, it's still a crack. It is still a crack, and sometimes you have to smash yourself and rebuild yourself back up before you can get to a point where someone can question the manner in which you deliver knowledge or deliver information, and you'll never give it a second thought because you have so much confidence in your leadership and in yourself as a man and yourself as and how you assert yourself that no other person can really tell you or even have influence on what you do as a person. And I think that's the kind of woman that it's instinctively that's the kind of man they look for. I think that's one of the reasons they challenge so much, because they look for men who are so certain and so sure of themselves that they're just like, okay, I've heard you. Because I've seen men respond in a healthy way to negative.
Hey, Lance, Dwayne trying to say something. Dwayne.
I was gonna let him finish. But
I've seen men trying to have that conversation with ghetto ass women and women who don't necessarily approach a situation ladylike that society standards say, and they've been like, and they sit there and they look at you and they say, okay, do you want to know what I think? Well, this is how I feel about it.
Right. And let me play.
What do you think about it?
Let me
go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate real quick, if I can, just for a little bit. I have a daughter, right? Brian has a daughter. Artist has a daughter. Sir Hill, you have a daughter, right? 2 daughters, right? I have 3, right? 18, 13, and 11, right? Those are my 3.
Lord have mercy. Praying for your brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Pray for me. And so with my girls, if my girl brought home a future and they just start dating, I'm gonna pull my daughter to. I've already taught her enough, but if she's blinded a little bit, I'm her guidance, right? I'm gonna say, hey, baby, whoa, wait, whoa. Ain't this the same guy that's got 8 kids by 7 different baby mamas? Why are you even in? Where did I go wrong? Where you're choosing to be with this type of man, right? And so when it comes to Sierra, a lot of people say Future messed over Sierra. He did her so bad. But Future had a big enough reputation for Sierra to know what kind of man he was. And she has to take accountability for making that choice and making that baby with a syrup head or with a fake drug dealer that's promoting drugs to kids in the community. She has to, and if she loved kids that much, why even lay, and you know the reputation he has, why even lay down with this man and have a kid with this man when you know he's not even taking care of other kids? Before you got pregnant with his kid, you were helping him take care of his other kids.
But she didn't talk about him in a negative way or anything like that. All she did was simply reflect in the mirror, see that she was that kind of person that chose that, and then decided to choose better, gravitated to something better, and married something better. And then people knocked him for being better. Because in actuality, Future represents a lot of our dudes. He is a leader in our neighborhood.
Agree. But sometimes when a stepdaddy comes in, like take Shaquille O'Neal, for instance, when that stepdaddy came in, his biological was not in the picture, right? So Future's little son, her decision.
Wait a minute. He got more kids than just the one he was popping out of her?
Who?
I did not know that.
Who?
Oh, girl, I didn't know he had because he already got like what 6? He got 6 like
so and yeah, he had some since Sierra. But my thing is this.
Chi, you're on mute.
My thing is this: when you look at the whole Sierra situation, when I say the accountability, when you chose to, even though she chose a different appetite, I agree with you guys completely. Sir Hale and Lance, Brian, and artists, I agree with you guys completely. But you chose to have this. Now, what is this going to do for the son? Knowing that my daddy wants to be in my life, but now I'm choosing between this God-fearing man that took on my mama, Russell Wilson, but then I got to go to my dad's house on the weekend and look at prostitutes and hoes all day at my daddy's house. How does that affect the child? You see, she changed her appetite, but what happens to the child? She no longer has to be connected to Future, but the child is connected to Future. He's 18. So what will he learn about being around his father when his daddy's still on drugs? Daddy still got women popping out babies. That's the example. And the internet ain't never going nowhere. So these kids at school can pull up a phone and say, your daddy got another kid. How is that going to affect the child? She made a decision to have a child with a man, and knowing this man's probably going to ruin this child's life because she has to let him go over there. It's your weekend. What is he seeing at Future's house?
I mean, but just like
girls
men,
dancing on the pole.
Men
don't find their leadership.
Wait, are we assuming that he's a bad father though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, why are we assuming that?
I think that his character in terms of the world is bad.
Right.
I won't go as far as to say he's a bad father.
Exactly. I don't think he's doing drugs in front of his kids.
Well, the reason I said that is because
there's entertainment now.
Right. The reason I said that is simply because of this. Some of the baby mamas, even Sierra, you can see how Sierra does not. In some cases, she would rather, if y'all just pay attention to her body language, she would rather have that boy with him every day. She would rather have him with Russell every day. That's why you see him at Russell Wilson's practices. You see him with Russell Wilson's jerseys on. He's out there playing with the other football players. I know some of you guys say you didn't like that. He walking around with Russell Wilson's jersey on, throwing the football with the other players.
I think that was over the top because the media made that look bad.
That's what I'm saying. That was the part.
Let's be true, y'all. This is what community is for. She got herself in a pickle and she had to get herself out.
Yep, she sure did.
She found herself somebody. I would rather see my daughter. Let's say she did this, and she was able to change her life around and find a guy that she can at least. We know that Russell will never be her son's dad. A kid's gonna grow up and their daddy is their daddy. I don't care who their daddy is, but the morals and the principles and the ethics that he's learning will be with him no matter where he goes.
Right.
And so for that, this is why I appreciate her doing what it takes to find a Russell Wilson. But we cannot go so far to say that Future is a bad dad just because he has a lot of kids. Like I've known men who have a lot of kids. As long as you are taking care of them, you're not. There's a component where he has to be ratchet because this is part of how he makes his money.
Right? Exactly.
But we don't know when the lights get off what kind of father he is. And
Sierra said he was a good father when they was together. Yeah. She said she was around the children.
And I'm glad Brian said that. Hold on.
And he said he's not on drugs either. He said he don't drink, sir. He just promotes it.
And here's my point. I'm gonna say this because I gotta go as well. I just want to say this one last thing. It's so important. Kevin Samuel said this, but this is why you'll never hear me down another black man. The reason why is because we can't uplift our community. Like I think Chi said this as well. We can't uplift our community and tear it down at the same time. There's one thing to hold the community accountable and call out stuff, but it's another thing to rip it down. And as a father, I understand that we already have a bad rap for not being in our kids' life. So even if the guy's character in terms of his work is bad, if he is a good father, I will happily give that man his credit because people need to hear that black men may not be in the most ideal professions, but that doesn't affect how we parent our kids.
Can I ask?
And that's how the media portrays us. If you got a lot of kids, last week Tony said this because my boy Tony that does the show with us on the panel with us on Tuesdays, he has 9 children, and people have said that about he ain't no celebrity, but people have said that about him. How could you have that many kids? Oh my God! He said I was married before, it didn't work out. Me and her had 4 kids. I had 5 kids with my now wife. with my second wife, and people ridicule Tony because he has 9 kids with 2 women. And they just it's just so
they automatically assume the stereotype. They automatically assume the stigma.
It's like a stereotype.
But if a white man has 9 or 10 kids, we'll assume he's Mormon before we assume he's trash.
But that's what goes
or he's rich. He must be rich.
Or must be rich.
But hold on, but it's 2 dichotomies then. But really, the real question is: would we want our daughters to date us, younger us, the younger us?
Hell no.
Yes.
I would. And look, baby will cash money. He said some dope shit that I could agree with. I forgot who asked him. I think Noriega. He said, "Would you want your daughter to date a nigga like you?" He was like, "Yeah." He said, "Because if she don't stay with him, she still learns something." He said, "Would you try to hold a gun or anything?" He was like, "Hell no, because if I push her away, she gonna just go to him anyway." And now people think baby just this ignorant person. I get a man his ultimate respect. Charlamagne, the guy, you wrong as fuck for calling him out. But what I think is, no one's mad at Sierra like that. No one's mad at Russell. No matter his future. It's because people are looking up at them. I know Brian is a big component. We got to stop following celebrities, but that's maybe us. But let's look at that as a community. The community follows celebrities. So you got women, men, women and men. You got men who hate Russell for being a good man. You got women who feel like they can get a Russell without being.
No, it's not because he's a good man. It's because they portray Future as a father, and they promoted stepfatherhood over that.
Okay, right? Okay, and that's cool. And that's all I'm saying is, if we don't have if we're not teaching the correct tools to understand what situational is and being accountable for one's own self. Sierra took her own self into accountability. Russell took his own self-accountability and said, hey, if I'm going to be with this woman, I'm going to take care of these goddamn kids. No matter what Future is. Future's like, hey, if I didn't want to be right with her, I got to understand Russell's going to be my step thing. But we have people that's not seeing the inner workings of what it takes to be accountable. That be my thing is.
Or who all is involved in that accountability. Because it's a village too. That's the thing. Like if I had a daughter, she can date whoever she wants to, but he's dating me too. And he's going to be dating my partner, and he's going to be dating all of my aunts, and he's going to be dating my uncles, and he's going to be dating my cousins. They don't know him.
I was confused. Because I got
if he's dating her,
and I got like 57 cousins, and he's going to know all of them. Because you need to know you're dating a family.
And we can agree. It takes a community.
My daughter can't date anybody.
But I agree with you completely, Chief. I agree with you. Nobody knows the inner workings.
She start dating at 13. Because and this is my theory. This is just my theory. I feel like if she do get heartbreak in high school, I at least can be there with her to go. Because I would hate for her to suffer in silence. I don't supposed to be with this nappy-headed boy, but I can't tell my daddy. And I'd rather go ahead and get this out the way, because once you get to high school, none of that education bullshit matters. Sorry if I'm spitting. I'm still eating Thanksgiving food. None of that education matters. So I'd rather walk her through the steps, even if she take the advice or don't take the advice. I'd rather. So I'm for. My child mother hates me for this shit. And I'm like, yeah, she can go on dates. I'm even to the standpoint, if she's 13 and she's staying with me, you can bring your boyfriend over, especially if he's a black dude. Because I hate when guys be having guns. We'll be like, oh yeah, whatever you do to my daughter. Why the fuck would you do that to a young black boy? That was just you at one point. To me, I'd rather understand the process, what my daughter's thoughts are. Hey, why are you like him? What do you like about him? I'm not going to intimidate her on what she like, because she going to like who she like. Now, I pray to God she don't bring home a white boy. Oh, my gosh. But I can't stop it if she does. I just hope he's a cool white boy, not one of them white boys that want to act black. But that's just my thing.
Here on the BMU show, we appreciate white people. Just
right.
Hold
on. You said we need to do a show to do what?
I'm just saying, we don't know who's watching BMU, so
right.
BMU appreciates white people.
We love you, white people.
Look, Brian said some shit Brian said some shit a while back. I forgot what he said. I think he said, man, I love my son. I'm okay. I think Brian said that if my son, if he was to be gay, he better not bring home no white boy. I give him black.
Oh yeah, real tough. Gotta be black, man.
Look, I'm not gonna stop him, but I'd rather.
I was eating something. I almost didn't go right for there, man.
Hey, I agree. I swear to God, I agree with Brian when he said that stuff.
Hey, man, let me tell you this, bro. One day I was watching Kevin Samuels, man, and Kevin said this too. A lady called in, and she said, Kevin, I'm stressed out. I really want. She's a very attractive woman, and he had her cammed up, and she said, I just want to be married. I'm tired of being alone. She said, I watch your show. I'm learning from you. She said, I'm losing weight. I'm in the gym. He actually, he goes through the whole thing because he's a visual person. He says, hey, listen, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? She said, I'm losing weight, blah, blah, blah. Then he asked her the magic question. He said, how many kids do you have? And she said, very attractive one, beautiful girl. And she said, I have 5 children. He said, how many fathers? She said, I have 3 fathers, 5 children. He said, okay. And she said, I just want to be with a high value man. He said, do you know how much it takes for that man to come into your life and take care of you and your children, your 5 children? And he said he's going to have to at least be making, where do you live? I think she said something about Alabama or something. He said, you're going to at least need a man that's making $110,000, $115,000 a year or more to take care of a family that big. And he said, or do you want to have more children? She said, yeah, I would like to have children with the guy. If he wants to have one, I'll give him one. And so what happened is he said, let me ask you a question. How many sons do you have out of those 5? She said 3. My oldest is 14. He said, your son's about to start dating. He said, if your son came home with you, would you be okay with your son dating you?
We have a conversation.
In the situation that you're in. She said, her words was immediate. Hell no.
Yep.
I'm not going to let my son put up with no woman, no 5 kids, no 3. He said, whoa, stop. He said, do you hear yourself? So you don't want that for your son. He said, but the man that you're looking for has a mama too. And she don't want that for her son. So
you don't get no answers. That's what I don't like about him. You're not giving answers. You just pulling out situation. And that's the thing. That's one of the main things I don't like about him. He hasn't asked this woman anything.
He asked her the magic question. He said, now would you take a man that's average, a plumber that's making $50,000 a year? Would you be okay with someone like that if you met someone on your level that will accept you and your children? Because a high value man that's way up there like that, making that kind of money, may have another choice of a woman that he wants to be with, and it doesn't involve you. And she said, I don't want no plumber. Why would I want to be with a man for 50,000? And I'm like, oh my God. So you would see Kevin. See, go ahead, sir.
See, Kevin Samuels doesn't answer questions. He positions questions so that you have to answer them yourself. It's a way that it sticks with you.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that form. So I'm with you on that one. Would you want your child to date someone like you? If the answer to the question is no, then you got some work to do. So I'm wholeheartedly with you on that, BMU.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question, folks. What if I'm just older too. I'm thinking of as a 39 older man. Would it be better? What if the woman with 5 kids was making over 6 figures a year? Wouldn't that make her a little better to date?
I think it would be the same thing because at the end of the day, a man's not worried about a woman's money. He's not worried about her money.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, I mean, I know you are, but I'm saying a man of character, a man of substance that's making his own money. He's not worried about how much money she's making because he knows if she's making 6 figures, 40% of that is going to those 5 children, right?
Okay.
So see what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, but still, yeah, I'm just speaking in real life terms. I'm just speaking in reality. If I was to meet a woman and she has 5 kids and she make a certain amount of money, that lets me know that she could take care of her children.
Right.
If I make enough money and I can take care of myself, I think it can work pretty well for someone to date a woman with that many children. If the woman is making money. Now, if she's a woman that's struggling, I can see why a man wouldn't want to take her serious.
Right.
Now, when you say take care, but when you say, when y'all say take care of, and when I think of take care of when it comes to children, I grew up poor and I think I am morally rich. I love myself. I love the decisions that I make, even as myself being judgmental. I feel like I position myself appropriately to accept any fucking thing that life has to offer me. And I think that my brothers and my sister, which my sister is the oldest out of 4 of us. I'm the 3 boys and she's the girl and she's the oldest. And I think that we are positioned morally and mentally and emotionally to handle more than anybody else who has money. Like when I see a woman and she has multiple kids, like when I think about her, I'm asking how many kids do you have by one father? Like do you have 5 kids by one dude? and some didn't work out, or do you have 5 kids by like 2 dudes? If you've got like 5 kids by 4 different baby daddies, that tells me that you're looking for something in a man, that you're not establishing yourself in a woman.
Though, man.
But I know I'm saying it does happen, but it happens most of the time. If a woman has multiple baby daddies, it just like a dude who has multiple baby mamas, you are searching for something in them to fulfill you. And then when you find out, oh no, you can't depend on them to build yourself, then they don't work out and you just got another baby.
So
you're not even being reckless.
If I go to Walmart and I steal a 56-inch TV and I walk out, the police catch me, put me in the back of the car, I go to court. The judge say, hey, listen, I've told you, I'm telling you this, I better not see you again. Don't come back here making the same mistake again, because I'm going to give you time. If I go with that warning, because the Bible says, and I know a lot of people are not religious, warning comes before destruction. So if I go back to Walmart again and I take a 60-inch TV and I walk out of there and they arrest me again and I go to court and he give me 10 years, that's on me. I did that. So if a woman goes have a baby the first time, that second time, somebody said it the other night on Tuesday. There is no excuse to keep having baby after baby after baby after baby after baby. You know what causes it. You know what you want in a man. Slow your ass down. Like Iyanla said, slow your ass down, close your legs and open up your heart and find someone
I agree with you.
who love you for you.
That's why I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. That's why I say that would be my discernment in making the decision. I'm just like, well, how quick are you to say you're in love? But how quick are you to join and shift and change your whole life?
I'm gonna say this and let y'all rock. I'm gonna say this and let y'all finish. Dude, when I tell you the girl is got stair steppers and all of them have different daddies, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4. You having a baby every 2 years by a different dude. Are you kidding me? Like, you don't know what causes it? Like, what is the what?
People going, it happens.
But hold on,
some people don't grow up till they turn 45, 50. I mean, you don't know. Some people don't stop having babies until they can't.
I know her right now. She got 9 kids, dude. No father figures in none of their lives, bro. You making
she's still walking around here defunct, not even knowing what's wrong with her emotionally.
And guess what?
Broke cracks.
I hope you sitting
she
down.
Just paint gold over.
I hope you sitting down. She pregnant now.
As habit would make it look like. What you say, Chief? I'm sorry.
But hold on. I can't get mad at her if she got 4 or 5 kids. So I ain't gonna say that. But to me, she should have asked a better question. If she comes to me and say, how do I find a man that makes more money? Like, so you don't care about if he gonna be in your kid's life, is he gonna be a Russell Wilson?
Right, absolutely.
See, my thing is, if she come and ask about a man and wanting a man with a lot of money, then it's like, it's suckers with money. I see a lot of suckers with money. So is he going to invest in your kids? Now, there may be a plumber. He may make $50,000, but he could be at home. If he got $1 million, most likely he's gone out of town. And also, too, there's high-value males that don't make a lot of money. So to me, now, this is where it's like, I know Cameron saying be like, you fat bitches. I get what y'all saying, too.
No, I've never heard him say that, man.
No. He has said fat bitch. He has said fat, you fat bitch. When he acts like the same, sometimes he act like the same females he talk about. I'm sorry, I've seen Kevin say you.
Hold on. I will say this in defense. I'm gonna say this. When he called it, you have to watch his content in its entirety. You can't go off a 30-second clip.
I'm not going off no 30-second clip.
I know what you're talking about. A lady called him. He said, "How much do you weigh?" She said, "Ain't none of your fucking business." He said, "Well, get off my phone, you fat bitch."
But once again, Uncle Stu. Now, Dwayne, this is where people got to pay attention. Uncle Stu basically said the same thing earlier, and you agreed on how we should. And I asked him about it. That's all I'm saying. Me personally. She should have asked a better question. I'm gonna give you bullshit as answer because you're talking about a man's pay. Is he gonna be in your kid's life? Because if you make $1 million, he ain't gonna be there all the time.
I'm trying to tell you.
He should ask a bit. And also, too, I'll say this: can you give what you can receive, baby? If a young chick come tell me she ain't got no kids and I got 2 kids, and I be like, baby, I want a woman without. I don't want a woman with no kids, nigga. You got 2 kids? I can't get pissed off because I can't give her what I'm asking.
Exactly. Exactly.
But if it is a dude, hold on. But if it is a dude out there solid enough, because think about it, it's more cleanup. We got more cleanup women and men in this community than we actually have first timers. So I'm not going to down a brother. I'm not going to down a nigga.
Say that again.
There used to be a song that says "clean up woman," but let's be honest. There's more. It's just as much clean up men than there is clean up women.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad if a sister asks for a high value meal. But what does your high value meal consist of? Because sometimes she can fuck up and fuck up and fuck up and fuck up and fuck up. My thing is, can she be honest for the conversation that's gonna be had? Like, baby, I gotta know your circumstances on why you had 5 kids like this with multiple guys. Because I'm not dating the kids, I'm dating the fathers. If you think about it.
And most of the time, what will you hear though, Chi? Most of the time, you'll hear victim mentality. Well, he didn't want to do this, and then this didn't work out. Okay, but what is it? What is it that you could have in foresight? What could you have seen before?
Lance, I agree with you.
What have you
learned? If she gives me a better conversation of, look, man, I ain't gonna lie. I love these dudes. I love hard. You know, I ain't gonna. Look. I allowed them to do certain things. I knew what I was doing. Okay, she grew. Like, I can't knock someone who loves somebody and loves you.
And there are some women that have grew, but there are some women that haven't, and there are some men that haven't grown.
I'm a fair person on both sides.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead, my bad.
Let me ask you this. How many? I know I've seen it. Brian, you've been here 39 years. I know you've seen it. Lance, you too. How many women have you seen in the hood that be on Facebook posting to my, oh God, please send me a man. Oh, he gonna send me one. Oh, this is my season. And then 2 weeks later, she taking a picture with a dude. And then 3 weeks later, she said, this nigga ain't shit. He broke my heart. And then she said, I'm gonna find all the women in her timeline, girl, don't worry about it. The right one coming. And then the next 3 or 4 weeks, 6 weeks later, she got the same dude. He just got a different name, different social security number. She's talking to the same dude every fucking time. It's a revolving door. I know one right now. Boy, I know one from my hood that I grew up in as a kid right now. Talk to the same dude every time on Facebook every 3 months.
But Dwayne, think this. How many dudes go out and get these women that they know that's not good for them? They'll post them, then be mad, be like, this bitch ain't shit. Like, I'm a fair ass nigga. I'm gonna be a fair ass nigga.
I'm like Brian now. I'm like Brian. I don't associate with them kind of guys.
Nah.
How do you know? But hold on. Then how you know about these women though? Then? Because I gotta ask this.
Because I grew up in the hood with these women and they still sending their mama's houses right beside my mama. When I go visit my mama, they still at their mama house, got a bedroom in the back to the left. Come on now.
This is where I understand. Look, I'm a fair ass nigga. I know ain't shit ass niggas who do some dumb shit too that be on some, these bitches a gold digger, but be in a bitch inbox. That same gold digger I'm talking about. I seen it. I seen dudes talk bad about women, but they say these bitches ain't shit and be them same bitches inboxes. Baby, you look good. You big.
Artists, I'm finna tell you something. Do you know right now that fuck boys are being glorified? Do you know women are searching for? Do you know women are searching for fuck boys right now to have? Gabrielle Union just wrote a book and said she wants, before she married Dwayne Wade, she wanted to fuck all the fuck boys, all the ones that sit at home playing the video game with no jobs. That's the one she wanted.
She said that after she got cheated on by him, just to put it in perspective, after he cheated on her. He said she also said that the woman that she was today.
All I'm saying is it's fuck shit on both sides. As much as I
agree with you.
This is what I don't like. No. You know what? This is a good topic to bring in. We talk about women. Let's talk about the baby situation. You know what? I don't feel too shit sorry for the baby. You know why I don't feel sorry? Because you tell me you don't give a fuck about these hoes. You ain't home. But guess what? You suffer from insecurity that most average males suffer from. She was a pretty light-skinned girl. She validated something that you couldn't get without money. Now, he may be a player. I don't know. But guess what? When he got dogged and he realized, nigga, the same woman you put a baby in, no, I don't feel sorry for the baby. No farther I feel sorry that thing. It's dudes that do the same thing as these women. Now, I don't see no men get on Facebook and say, I need somebody to take care of my 4 kids.
But I do know guys who will do the same shit. They'll have a good ass woman at home. They'll have a good ass woman at home. And I'm being honest. We're gonna be honest. But still be in the bitch inbox that know that bitch is trifling. Know that bitch that you get niggas locked up. You know why? You know why they do that? Because they come from the same hood as them dumb. And I'm gonna be honest. They gonna come from that same hood as that dumb bitch we call a dumb bitch. Dumb, and that's why I'm fair. We're dumb. I ain't gonna say we're dumb people, but we do dumb shit sometimes. So I can't get mad at the sister if she want to go for the top, but she gotta be okay to understand. She gotta be.
But you know what? Don't
you see my last name?
I'm gonna say my grandfather, because I bring him up a lot. I miss him a lot.
Yeah.
But my grandfather used to say, we used to under the tree conversations, and he used to say, so I say, Granddaddy, why are you always so hard on you? He said, no, I'm balanced with getting on your ass and your sister's ass. He said, but I'm gonna tell you something, grandson. He said, I'm gonna be even hard on them girls in there. He said, I said, why though? He said, you know why? He said, because with a boy, you got to worry about one dick. With a girl, you have to worry about several. And he said, I don't want her to have to go through several and end up living here. And I got to take care of the kids, and I got to pay to pay for diapers. I got to pay for milk and formula. He said there's a difference when a woman gives her body to a man, because there's huge consequences that come after. He said a man can sit, my granddad said a man can sit there and say, I don't want to do this, baby, move 2 states over and don't have to pay nothing. But he said she's at home late night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, feeding the baby, changing diapers, got to get up to go to work, got to get up to go to school. He said, I want to teach them that when you give your body away, you have more responsibility than he does, because he can walk away, but you're attached to this child forever. And this is where
I agree with Lance on the sometime. It is a leadership. This is why I agree with Lance on this. Because hold on. I get it, you know, daddy's maybes, mama's babies, all that bullshit.
Right, absolutely.
But if granddad, and he sound like a smart guy, so I don't want to disrespect him or nothing like that. But if granddad would have still been on your ass about, look, bro, your penis has power. At the end of the day, pussy has power. Pussy has power. Dick still controls it. At the end of the day, women will. I've seen
women have the whole game system, but men have the joystick.
And at the end of the day, we still. If I tell a woman to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not trying to be sexist about that. I'm not trying to be sexist. If I tell a woman to get up and bring me some Taco Bell at 3 o'clock in the morning, she gonna do it and ask, do you need anything else? But at the end of the day, we still got to also tell our boys to be like, hey, look, this will come with that fucking territory.
Absolutely.
Like, it's an equal. I'm an equal opportunist with it.
No, I don't blame a woman for that.
Hey, you know what? I'm telling my son. I'm gonna tell my son don't have sex with nobody until you get married.
Jeez. Brian, I want to ask you, how do you get those bitches down so they don't go crazy? What level of dick do you give them?
I'm like Brian. Like what Brian said. Brian said it. Brian said he tells his son all the time, your penis has consequences. And I agree.
But I'm trying to figure out, because Brian's
can't walk on no perfect eggshells though.
Brian's approach seems to. Is it that you're getting women who have their shit together mentally and they not going crazy, or are you just like not giving? Because I know some dudes that go in there and they give you a newlywed dick. This is what I call it, newlywed.
Well, it's
dick.
not about dick though. It's just about
it's about
conversation and what type of women I want to attract.
I attract great women. You know what I'm saying? I don't track like ratchet women. I don't track broke women or nothing like that. You know, I attract dope women, and I give them great energy. Now I'm not perfect. Now most women say I probably, you know, what and shit, but for the most part, the women I have encountered was dope. You know what I'm saying? Right. I hate how it ended, but it was dope, man. Educated, smart business women. Like my the lady I'm currently dating, nurse, make great money, got a bigger house than me, make way more money than me. She make 300. I think she in a $300,000 home. She didn't make nothing close to what she make, but she still respect me as a man. She don't disrespect me. She don't emasculate me or none of that. But we both gotta understand. You gotta think we older. I'm 39. You know what I'm saying? We older, so
I mean, I'm just 4 years behind you.
life.
I'm just 4 years
We
behind.
done made our mistakes. We done been in bad relationships. Now we just want to be,
Jedi
just
is. I think Jedi.
enjoy each other as friends and not as
Right, there's a base there. There's a base there. You just
I
not
submit
you
to
not
you,
some
you
randos. You just keep pulling up
to
in your
me
phone.
type shit. It's more equal, man. I can't knock the. So for me, I don't require because you got I ain't with all this greater. So she gonna be the one to handle my money because I blow money. So sometimes I trust her with my money, or she might. I'm not I'm a guy that just buy it. I just buy something, but she'll probably ask questions like, "Hold on, Brian, wait, check this out right here before you do this." You see what I'm saying? So those women I always attracted. Now, could I hold on to them? Probably not, because my personality. Sometimes I'm a fucked up individual. But the women I have encountered, man, they been dope, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't have no horror stories like that.
Hey man,
I don't.
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I know somebody, and we're
And
gonna
they
close it out.
beautiful.
I know. I will close it out after this, and we'll meet up Tuesday, because Tuesday is gonna go down. Tuesday we'll have some conversation for Tuesday. But man, I know somebody that makes Russell Wilson look like Sesame Street. And let me tell you something. He ain't no millionaire. He's a regular 9-to-5 guy. He got a nice job, whatever. I used to sell cars in Louisiana, and the girl's uncle, I worked with him, and the whole family was distraught. So she got engaged. She was about to get married. She went out on an all-girls trip, right? To celebrate her engagement, and she had a one-night stand while she was celebrating, right? So didn't tell her man or nothing. She ended up pregnant. Right? The thing I can appreciate about her is that she told him the truth. She said, "I'm
before
pregnant."
She got married?
Oh no, yeah. Why? She said she told him, "Yeah, how the hell? Because your wedding is in 11 months and you're due in 9. So, baby, I'm pregnant." Oh my God, we about to no, it ain't like that. When I went out of town with my girls, I got a little tipsy, I got a little drunk, and I had a one-night stand. And the result of that one-night stand is I'm pregnant. And the dude said, "Well,
you knew.
Who was the dude?" She said, "I have no idea. I don't even remember.
Ooh.
I don't even remember him."
Oh
right?
my God.
Guess what he did? Guess what he did? Baby, this is his words. Artists, don't fall out your seat. Brian, don't fall out the bed. Lance, don't fall through the window. He told her, he said, "I love you, and we're gonna get through this thing together. And I'm gonna raise those babies. I'm gonna raise those babies like they're mine. We're gonna go to the appointments together." He went to all her appointments, rubbing her stomach, acting like them babies. Right now, those babies now are like 13, and I don't even think they know how they got here.
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
I don't have no issues with it, because that's just the man. Look, we all are on different.
That's human.
Man. I'm not gonna judge him for what he did.
Oh, no, I didn't judge him either. I said that's a good dude, because most dudes
I do some shit like that.
But her herself, she has to live with the idea that one day she's gonna have to tell that kid that's not his. Right. And I will leave that to her, because she did that.
It's twins. It was twins.
You know what I hate about it? No, the most hateful part about it is you told him when you found out you was pregnant, and that shows me dishonesty in your heart. If you would have made a mistake, that's a whole different thing. If you would have came to the next day and been like, "I fucked up."
I will say this: alcohol don't enhance. Alcohol don't make you fuck up. You was already.
No, yeah, exactly. But I mean, you can fuck up. I'm the kind of person you can fuck up. Just be honest. Just be honest. Let me deal with it. Let me handle it.
That dude is a great ass dude. Like, I ain't gonna say he a dumb ass dude. He a great ass dude, because he understood that them kids. If he left that woman, she don't know the baby daddy. That makes it even worse. So now you got a woman with 2 kids in a fucked up situation. That's a man.
No child support, no nothing. You can't do nothing.
Man. And her, she better suck that nigga dick, lick that nigga feet. I don't know what that nigga into. If that nigga say lick his ass, she better do it. Because every day she should wake up knowing that, hey, I could have been in a fucked up situation. Unmarried, with twins, and I don't even know who the baby daddy is. Imagine telling that to someone. But him, I mean, he cool. I mean, he's cool.
You're right, and they still married.
He a cool ass dude. That's fucked up what I just said. He a cool ass dude. I respect him. He a man.
I mean, you also got to question her history too. I mean, I got a family member She has 3 different kids, 3 different baby daddies. The first one she don't know. The second one she do know. She was in a relationship with. They were shacking. You know, they were never married. They were never even engaged. The third one she did get married to, but she got married after she found out she was pregnant. But she still and she'll even say like she didn't really want to marry this man. You know. But I mean, she did love him, but she didn't love him the way that she loved, you know, another person that was in her life. So, and I want to say that she fully holds herself accountable for that. The dude that she wanted to be with, she's with today. They have issues, but she's down for him 10 toes. And I've always respected her for that. Because I'm like, if you're going to make and we've had many talks, and I told her, you know, I didn't condemn her for it. You know, she's a whole beautiful person. She also had a father who told her that not to call him anymore. You know, he was raising a whole family and she wasn't a part of it. He said this to her over the phone. Like that kind of shit damages a person. I don't care what gender you are. That shit damages you. And you start looking for value. And I think it's more important for men to even understand that like she was saying, like when he was on last time, he was like, you know, not necessarily finding, you know, who I am through my pain or my trauma. But I mean, you got to break through the trauma to get to the joy, because people are always going to try to cause you trauma. And if you are subject to one trauma, no matter how old it is, you are bound to fall for the next trauma. Because at that point, if you don't, you're still in victim status. You're still in victim mode.
Yeah, right.
You are still a victim, and that means you will continue to be a victim. You can't help it.
Still running the victim.
So I think we have to take that into accountability. We as a Black nation, we are a nation of secrets. We were brought in as secret. We were raised as secret. We were created as secret when we were separated. We had secretive children by white men. I mean, we thrive on those secrets. Our church is filled with secrets. Our home is filled with secrets. There was a time where you didn't even question a person about how they ran their family. Nobody questioned a man if he hit his child or how hard or what, or, you know, whether he was doing the right thing. It just kind of was like, ooh, like, you know, there was a time where we didn't speak up. And we are gonna have to build from that. But before we do, we have to back to accountability. We have to, especially as men, it's paramount that we be completely honest and deal with everything that we need to fucking.
But hold on, Lance,
because we are the ones that's gonna help.
Hey, I'm gonna let Artist say that. I'm gonna let Artist say the last words, then we're gonna head out, bro.
Lance, my whole thing this whole night, fuck the gender. Hold yourself accountable before you expect anybody to hold yourself accountable. I know you said it's on men. No, it's on that individual person to hold themselves accountable.
It's just my theory. It's just my theory. I don't think anything will get better until the men get better.
This is the thing with trauma. This is how I look at trauma. We all go through something. I agree. I'm not going to be a fucked up person say, your dumb ass is stupid because you went through trauma. No, what I am going to say is if your trauma is still hindering you at 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, what the fuck are you even
not recognizing that it's trauma in the first place?
Because my thing is, if you as an individual, man or woman, decides to go get in a relationship, then turn around and figure out you don't want to be in that relationship because you were hurt at 13, then
but that's not how they're receiving it. That's not how it's transpiring.
I understand that. But Lance, I can't control a person's mind. I can lead a person.
You absolutely can. No, you absolutely can. That's the thing. We think we have no power. You absolutely can lead a person's mind by being an example.
A woman can lead a man to water, but she can't make him drink it. A man can lead a woman. That's all. My thing is, take fucking gender out of it. As a human being, if you're 21, 22, 23, 24, hey, take control of your life. Take control of your life? That's all I'm saying. Take control of your life, because if you're expecting other. No. I know it's not easy, but take your time until it becomes easier. It don't have to be easy, but easier. Easier and easy is two different things. Easier is like, hey, today this is what I'm working. Do you really, Lance, right now, would you go get in a relationship if you found out a guy's a fucked up person? So fucked up that he doesn't want to work and he wants you to fix him. Would you go be with that man?
Honestly, down to my bones, yes. Because I am the type of person that was raised in trauma. I was built from chaos. I know how to work best in chaos. It's when something's a mess.
Well, I don't want to deal with trauma. I don't want to deal with
But here's the thing. That's why I haven't been in a relationship in 3 years. That's something I had to stop and recognize about myself. I like fixing people.
Well,
but in fixing people, I realized I was trying to fix myself, and I had to recognize it.
I don't need to be fixed.
I know. No, I agree with y'all. No, I'm saying I agree with y'all. I'm saying, but at this point right now, I do still know that about myself. But I have to understand that that's a part of me, and there's a part where I can tap into that, and that's good. Like when I contribute to just regular people.
Lance, that's what I'm saying. Stop putting it on men.
I'm not putting.
No, but you said it's definitely more on men.
If you're a man that believes that men are the leadership role, then yes, in leadership, you automatically
take out the leadership. But look, take the leadership out of it.
Oh, well, that's what we've been talking about. I thought that's what we've been talking about this whole time.
No, hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this. Lance is a history buff like myself. And we all know who Frederick. I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna catch up next week when we do this again. Lance, he knows Frederick Douglass. Everybody knows who Frederick Douglass is. Lance said he likes to fix people. But let me tell you what Frederick said. Frederick Douglass said these words. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men."
Broken men.
Yeah.
And so when we get older and we playing Mr. Fix It, and let me give you an example. Because I like to use analogies. If your car goes on a flat and you get fix-a-flat out the trunk and you put it in that tire, on that fix-a-flat, on the directions, it tells you can only go so long before you have to repair this entire tire. That fix-a-flat's going to erode the inside of that tire. It's just going to help you get to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't be fixing people. You got to get to the point to know I'm putting fix-a-flat in this person. And if they don't get the necessary help, they're going to erode. And by the time they get to the next place, they got to be repaired again.
You're exactly right. But denying that I could be a part of the. I have two things to say that. Three things. One, you're completely right. That is something that I found. Like when you knew me, I was in a whole relationship where I was going through a whole bunch of medical issues, but I was still more concerned about this other person who didn't even know how to like take care of me, and I had never even given myself the opportunity to be taken care of. There are people that don't know what to get me for a Christmas gift right now because I'm the person who gets the gifts. I weren't even given the people the opportunity to.
I suck at giving gifts. I don't know what.
And there's a lot of black men that are like. There are black men. A lot of black men that are like that. They're not even giving the opportunity to some people who could be wiser to even help them recognize their trauma or even help them recognize what could be as a fault or a downfall for them. That's something now in my 35 years of age, I spent 3 years.
Let me say this. Let me say this, and then I'll let Chi say the last thing, and then we'll go. Sometime we'll talk about this Tuesday. This is going to be the subject Tuesday. So, guys, if you're watching right now, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, I should have said that earlier. Like the channel. But Tuesday we're going to be talking about because some people use therapy as a crutch, and so Tuesday we're going to tackle that. But Tuesday we're going to talk about should therapy have an expiration date? Because when therapy, because let me tell you why, and I hold that disagreement until Tuesday because I think it should. I think it should have an expiration date because if I go to a person and they help me learn how to build a boat and they give me all the tools to build the boat, then why do I continue to go back to this person when they've already showed me how to build the boat?
Mm-hmm.
If you give me the tools, why do I continue to go back to the builder if he's already made me a master of what I've already what I've tried to accomplish. So
and see, that's something I'm learning right now. So I got an opinion about that, and that's something I can grow from.
Yeah,
that's an episode I can grow from. I hope I can grow from that.
We're gonna talk about that Tuesday. So, man, listen, I want to thank everybody that came on tonight, man. I want to thank Uncle Stu coming through and breaking bread. I want to thank Jedi Mike. I want to thank, everybody, Aaron, all those guys that came through right now. They're having a party over at let me see where they at. Oh, yeah, on Anton page. They've been banging me up. You coming? You coming? I don't know if I'm going to make it. But anyway.
But swag on there and throw some on them.
Oh, yeah, man. I thank you guys, man.
One second. Let me get 2 seconds. Let me say this, and I'll say this to Lance. I agree to everything. I'm currently talking to a chick that I respect the most high. And you know the first thing she told me, I don't want to be in a relationship because I just got a relationship with my child's father. And she was like, that trauma hurt me, that it's going to be a while. And I respect her so much that I hold her up here. Now, putting it on the pedestal, fuck the pedestal. If there is a God up there, she's up there with it. And I respect her. We don't agree on a lot of things, but I respect her when she said that, hey, I'm not going to get in a relationship with you knowing I'm hurt from my last relationship. But she said what we can do in the meantime, and she got kids. She got 2 kids, 2 daughters at that. She tell me, hey, man, maybe one day down the line, but just be my friend right now. We can still talk and we can hang out, and I respect the shit out of her. Like, I respect the shit out of her. That's a chick that I can respect. She got kids. I'm cool with that. She got issues. She got issues that she has to deal with. I'm cool with that. Because it's a lot of people that will get in these fucked up situations, they'll tell you after the fact. And I swear, folks, and I'm going to show her this video later on. And send her this video.
Using people as their feeling to get to their healing. Yeah, and it's not working.
And I swear to God, I swear to God, she from up north, but I respect the shit out of her. Like, if I could, I would marry her black ass right now. But that's just me. I just say that I understand people if they just tell me up front, don't be a fucked up person. But we can go for now, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. I'll see you. Chi, you can come back in on Tuesday, man. We're gonna be rocking it out Tuesday. Lance, we're gonna rock it out.
To get his pitch on the thing.
Oh, yeah. And therapy, Sean. So let me tell you what happened. So Sean, I had reached out to Sean, and she enjoyed the show. So she said, "Oh, I definitely want to come and be on the panel to give some balance to the women." So you'll have Mother, you'll have Sierra, you'll have Sean.
Come on, balance. Come on,
it's gonna happen. And at some point, you're gonna be
playing. Let me stop. I'm just playing.
It's going down. So, man, but again, man, I appreciate you guys, man. If you're watching right now, these guys are amazing, man. I appreciate you guys. I salute you guys. And Tuesday at 8:30, we here every Tuesday at 8:30, every Friday at 8. All right. So we love y'all. This has been Black Men Unfiltered. Lance, go ahead and say your goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Artists.
All right,
peace out, God.
So, guys, that's been Black Men Unfiltered. This is your host and creator of Black Men Unfiltered. Hey, you see the cash up down at the bottom. If you're enjoying the content, you want to throw your boy a couple of dollars, you want to take a couple of dollars, you can go ahead and go to my cash app, $ Black Men Unfiltered. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Man, please come back next Tuesday. We'll be here Tuesday at 8:30, killing it. And then again on Friday, we'll bring all the men in to kill it. And then, ladies, don't feel left out, because Kaylin, if you're still watching, I want you to be a part of the ladies panel, okay? We're going to have a ladies panel where we're cooking with queens. And I'm not even going to be a part of it. I'm going to come in, get everybody logged in, get their sound right. And I'm going to log out that thing, and I'm going to let them cook, right? So it's more to come with Black Men Unfiltered. And so I appreciate you guys for watching. If you want to send a cash app, send that. If you don't, I even appreciate the fact that you subscribed today. If you did, if you liked it, I appreciate you. This is Dwayne with Black Men Unfiltered. I appreciate you. I salute you.